the.
You're not one of my students, are you?
Thank you to whoever did that. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 716th episode of the Geekverse podcast. And welcome to, somehow after almost 5 years, a review for an MCU Tom Holland Spider-Man film. I am the Pew Boy, Travis Snell, and I'm joined by...
I'm your friendly neighborhood caster, Kirkland Patzer.
I'm Dylan Daffodil Muss.
I'm the inhibitor, Taylor Field.
Yes, as I said, hence by the nicknames, the title, the whole shebang. Big lead up to this. We've done Patreon cast for it. We've done a prediction episode. I released all the old ones in the feeds as far as the reviews. You can go back. Me and Dylan, once upon a time ago, reviewed every single episode of the 90s animated show. So we're big fans over here at Spider-Man. We did fan cast drafts, a bunch of stuff. So anytime we talk about Spider-Man, it is a good time. As I mentioned, almost half a decade, which is kind of nuts. But here we are. This is a big episode. As usual, if you're a first-time listener, we're going to just give our non-spoilers review. That'll probably be about 15, 20 minutes. Been waiting all day. Well, D-Tol, it's coming at you. After this ad break, no, I'm joking. We're going to drop our review, non-spoilers review right now. We will take said break, and then after that will be spoilers. So if anyone's listening or watching live, we will give you fair warning before we cross that wall. So, Taylor Field, first of all, how was this in 3D? And second of all, what did you think of the movie?
Oh man, 3D.
I'm gonna say 3D was fucking incredible.
He's back. He's going to start seeing them all in 3D.
It doesn't work with every movie, not at all. But the way that they did a lot of the swinging and the jumping off buildings in this movie, with Madison, there's a moment like she put her hands on her head because when this is not a spoiler, when he dives down off of one building, it's like, yeah, it's fucking surreal. Like it's like you're playing those VR games where you're actually in it and you like lose your balance for a second because it was fucking amazing. It was awesome. It was really really good time. So I'm actually really happy that finally they have a movie that actually works with 3D.
Tito asked, was he the only one in 3D viewing? Yes. I hopefully, unless you threaten to cut my dick off, will never see a 3D movie ever again. Ever again.
That's a shame.
I had the screen with the thing on the sides as well.
Screen X,
That
okay.
one, yeah.
It was shot
Oh.
specifically for Screen X still in this one.
It did feel better than, I think the last thing I saw in Screen X was Mickey 17, and that just felt like a waste of
Oh,
time. This
yeah.
felt a bit better. So.
Okay, cool.
Were you regular, Kirkland? You're the same as Travis? Extreme?
Yes,
Extreme.
that was extreme. Yeah.
Extreme sound. But yeah, aside from the 3D, there was some fucking energy in the air. Like the theater was absolutely sold out, and everyone was just same energy. And Madison started off the round of applause when the credits hit. She started clapping, and she got the whole fucking theater going. I'm not even kidding.
Whoa.
It was great.
Wow.
But yeah, it was just awesome. It just had that the movie just had that classic, but then familiar and new, just kind of energy to it. That something that I was really excited about after walking out from Fantastic Four, and I feel like this captured it and built off of that. And there's so many things in here that I'm excited to break down, and things that have just kind of, I feel like it's the groundwork for future projects, like certain obvious things aside, but there's other subtle little things which I'm excited to highlight too. But yeah, it's just from the visuals and the drama and just getting to be brought back into this world with Peter Parker, they definitely caught me by surprise. There were two specific standout moments in here that absolutely had me thinking the complete opposite. And I was not expecting it. And so I think that it does a great job at kind of keeping you on your toes. But yeah, I think that overall, there's maybe one, and people might hate me for this, one brief moment where I thought, like, this is feeling long, but not necessarily in like a bad way. I just thought like we've already gone through like these two arcs, and now we're entering like into another arc here. It's just like it's a lot of narrative thrown into the mix.
It's a
I don't
lot
know.
of narrative.
I don't know if you would need to like shorten it down at some parts, or maybe like the whole first act, maybe just kind of speed that up a little bit because they spent a little too much time focusing on this build up, which I feel like it does pay off, but maybe I'm just being a little bit too hypercritical.
Is it long enough and impactful enough to impact your final score?
I was thinking about that on the drive home.
Still thinking about it?
I'm still thinking about it. I think it's all going to come down to our discussion and how I'm feeling after we kind of break it down some more and kind of, spread it around. But all in all, the score was great and everything. That just there's so much greatness in this movie. It really, really is a good time, and it just you leave the theater honestly wanting more, and you just want to have more, more all of it, more all of it. Really.
More
So,
all of
and the relationships too. Obviously, we know Frank Castle is in here. The dynamic between Frank and Peter, it just feels like siblings, and I fucking ate it up every step of the way. I loved it. I thought it was great. That there's banter. There's a lot more juice there than actually I was expecting. I thought from the trailers there was just going to be like a minor. It was going to be a minor component, but I feel like there's they kind of they allow it to kind of flood the narrative a little bit more, and so I'm really thankful for that, because yes, he's a different Frank from Daredevil and from his own show Punisher. He feels very different, obviously, from his
Really?
his special run at times, but then they drop like the odd little significant moments, one in particular that just kind of brings it full circle. And I feel like, okay, like he's brushing things off a little bit more easily than he would in the other iterations of him, where he'd be a lot more traumatic and stressed. But I mean, we'll break that down later on. I think that all the Easter eggs, the cameos, the characters that they threw in here, it was very satisfying. So I'm juiced. I'm excited. I'm happy to talk about it.
Okay. Dylan, you happy to talk about it?
Thrilled to talk about it. Yeah, I had a fantastic time watching this movie here. Yeah, I feel like, just jumping right off what was Taylor saying there. Have watched all this Punisher stuff. I even watched the special, and I didn't really enjoy that so much. But man, I had so much fun with Frank in this movie, and excited to get into that conversation specifically, because I do feel like there's definitely a change here in terms of how he is versus like the other times we've seen this character. But man, I was just taking myself back to, what was it, 2016 with Civil War, and thinking about like that Peter getting introduced, Spider-Man now with that Frank, like all these years later, is a really cool culmination moment for me. And then there's all sorts of fun characters in here, whether they're just like small in there for like a montage almost, or if they're in there for a couple scenes, then just kind of add to that greater Marvel world. I feel like we haven't had a movie like this in the MCU that really connected a bunch of characters in a way that I found very satisfying and gets me excited for Doomsday in a way that I maybe wasn't before, even if it's just minor little breadcrumbs, and Spider-Man's not in Doomsday as far as we know. So, I had a great time with this. I can see what you mean, Taylor, in terms of like it feels like the movie's about to end and then we go for another sequence there. I was eating it up though. Like I would, if it was long enough that I was still in the theater right now, I'd be a happy guy just going along for the ride. I think the action is all great in here. The special effects, there's that one or two moments that kind of stood out as not looking the best, but for the most part, I think it looked really good. Man, there's a couple emotional beats in here. One in particular that like devastated me. I think there's one scene that is just expertly done in here that was just heart-wrenching in so many different ways at the same time. And I just love this the personal loner storyline that we're getting for Peter here. I think it really works for me in a lot of ways, and I don't know, maybe the timing of when it's hitting compared to like where I'm at in my life and stuff. I don't know. It really impacted me, and I feel like a pretty meaningful way. So yeah, I think this movie was definitely a lot better than I thought it was. It felt a lot more cohesive than I thought it would be. Frick, man, I had an amazing time. Excited to break it down with you guys.
An amazing time. Okay.
Amazing time.
I guess I'll let Kirkland go last. He's the friendly neighborhood caster. He's got it in the name there. I like to go last because people hear me talk enough in the opening. But I'll lay down to Kirkland. So this movie, I've been curious on how it was going to go down. I've been curious. Tell me now, Feige. What you doing with that Spider-Man? Because it has been a long time, right? Lots has changed in general. And I said that what I was expecting for this movie was at least to hit like an 8 out of 10, and I would be happy. So somehow I can report that it's higher than an 8 out of 10. So I'll give you that. It exceeded my expectations. I'll say, not counting No Way Home, because we can all admit that has a lot of buffers on it, right? Lots of nostalgia, lots of specialty there. So take that out of the equation. For live action Spider-Man, I don't think I've had this sense of magic and wonder and awe since Spider-Man 2. I still put Spider-Man 1 above Spider-Man 2, but still Spider-Man 2 has the juice, right? It's a amazing superhero movie, amazing Spider-Man movie. Some people still consider it the best of all time, right? So I'll say that it's definitely just, and even as No Way Home, as like I'd say a film trying to, let's say, minimize the buffers, I think this is better than that as just a 1 to 2 movie. I think it's definitely better from Far From Home, Homecoming, definitely better than, Garfield's stuff. That's not his fault. And then definitely better than Spider-Man 3. So Spider-Verse, that gets a bit more tricky, right? But so for the live action stuff, I really haven't felt this Spider-Man magic since '04, and I feel like I've been waiting to see that. I felt it with the character, like Dylan just alluded to Civil War. I felt that in Civil War, and I felt that with the Russos. I always thought, oh man, the Russos are much better with Spider-Man than Watts and company. I thought they nailed him, but he's never in those movies as like a main character, right? Just as supporting, so that was kind of tough. So what I thought I was going to get with Homecoming, I finally got here. So that was, I was kind of surprised by. I think Holland's great. I think what we talk about with Odyssey, I think what we hear, Holland's just getting better and better as an actor. It's great that Zendaya, she got a little bit of No Way Home, but it's great that she actually has stuff to fucking do in this movie and gets to actually act, because she's one of the world's greatest actresses right now, especially up and coming. She's only like early 30s, or she's about to turn 30, right? That's a meme going on. She's about to turn 30, and she's like one of the greats already. So it's like, okay, we got multiple scenes of here where there's meat on the bone, for another, fucking meme for our childhood there. We'll talk about Ned later. Sadie Sink, again, Kirkland questioned me. People questioned me when I did the Stranger Things reviews, saying to me Sadie Sink was easily the best actress on that show. I fucking stand by that every single day of the second. Like, clearly, don't even need to talk about her character. Like, it's crazy that they cast her as Howard the Duck, but like, she fucking nails it all the way through. But no, she's fantastic, and I can't wait for if we get more of this actress in the MCU. Kind of a tier casting, what we talked about. So really no notes there. Some of the swinging scenes are incredible. They were trying to match some of the POVs. I do think, kind of what Dylan alluded, there's some times where it's just, can't we go outside? Like, it's just like, I know that's supposed to be a sunset, but man, it ain't no sunset. I just wish it. And something, when it's just a shot of Tom Holland sitting on a roof, just get a camera. Just go to wherever you are in Ontario. Be like, hey, when's the sun coming up? All right, let's just wait. You're going to pay millions of dollars. Let's do that. I don't need the green screen sun. So there's a couple times where the choreography of the swinging and the action is like A+, but then some of the surroundings is a little that Silicon Valley thing of like something's off here, right? So that's kind of disappointing, because I feel like we were hoping some of that would change when we saw the behind the scenes and doing actual physical swinging, which definitely, don't get me wrong, it's better than all the other Holland stuff, but it's just not kind of maybe that Raimi perfectness. There's things that take me out there. Action's great. I think it's mostly a pro. I think it's one of the best films of living and breathing in the MCU. It feels like the Civil War effect, where so much is going on, but it's all just working. It's this character, it's this storyline, it's this dynamic, it's all just flowing well. I think there's a little bit of, hey, we might be doing a bit too much of setting a lot of stuff up here. It never gets too much. It never gets like Iron Man 2-ish, so it's okay. But there's just a few times where, okay, we're stuffing a lot in here, but it mostly works. I think the only thing now I'm at a crossroads is because it exceeded my expectations, but midway through, I'm like, oh man, I think I got like a top 5 MCU film. And then as it went on, I got disappointed because it wasn't that, and I think there's two big things in here. I was prepped for it. I'm going to say most of my thoughts for spoilers, but Frank Castle is definitely a discussion that has to be had. I think luckily it's not, I know I'm making this sound really bad, it's not like an assassination of the character, don't get me wrong, but it feels like there's just a few little things they did with the character that they overstepped, and they had the runway of like a great Punisher arc there, and they just kind of chose not to do it, or just like some of the things we talked about that could have been meaningful. I think it would have maybe worked better if they never put, I'm of two minds. I love John Bernthal, but it would have been better if maybe he was never in Born Again or his own special, because this is not the same guy. I never ever want to hear or see the fucking quote put in my timeline of John Bernthal being like, yeah, I wouldn't go back for Born Again because it just wasn't the Frank Castle I know and respect and who I hold true to my heart. I would never do that. Watch this movie. He got the bag, and that's fine. I'm completely fine with it. I like this version of Punisher, but I never want to see that quote that's always shoved in my throat. And it has a huge problem with the villain. There's a massive problem. I've said it before. It's called the BVS problem, where all you need is these two characters just to sit down for 30 seconds and talk. and it's settled. And there's no reason why they wouldn't sit down and talk. You know, they pose no issue of how like, oh, they never bump into each other or there's other forces. It's very much, again, to non-spoiler, Batman versus Superman. At no point does Lex Luthor have to threaten the mom, like his mother's life. Superman could just flown over and be like, hey, this stuff's happening to me. And Batman, oh, this stuff's happening to me. Oh, great. It's clearly someone else, eh? That's big time in this movie, and it's a big like anchor. So I'm both exceed my expectations, but also was a little disappointed. But I had a fun time with this. I'll definitely watch this movie a bunch of things. I think they really captured the essence of Spider-Man and Peter Parker and the trials and tribulations of that character more than the other ones did. I don't think, other than maybe Frank, they went over on the comedy. So no, I think it's still a great film. Might even be a top 10 MCU, but I think it was maybe a Mount Rushmore and didn't quite get there. But for the most part, absolutely loved it, and felt like a live-action comic or cartoon in the best ways, I'll say. So I throw it to the Spidey boy.
Yes, here we are. Brand new day. Finally happened. Man, absolute masterclass movie for me. This by far exceeded my expectations. This is like exactly, I think, what I wanted. And something that really was just the cherry on top of this is I notoriously fucking hate Sony trailers. I hate Sony trailers so much. And man, this one got me because they actually fooled me with some things that were shown in the trailer versus what actually happens in the movie. And I was just so happy. Like when like those scenes, some of them are devastating, but I was still just so happy knowing that like, man, I was actually surprised with this. And it was such a great feeling because that has not happened at all in these Spider-Man Sony trailers. It's always like basically one for one what they show in the trailer is like what happens here, but there's some black magic going on, and I totally appreciated it. No, this is absolutely just amazing, no pun intended, an amazing Spider-Man experience. And man, like the first act of this movie, I felt like a kid again, just seeing the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man doing his thing. And like it was so great. I love the suit in this movie. I love the web swinging in this movie. I love the combat and the action. It felt like a movie from the video game, and that's by no means a bad thing. Like it just looked so fun with just the choreography of how everything was handled. Some of like the POV shots, when he's like it totally takes your breath away. Makes me that much sadder I don't have access to an IMAX near me, because this could be an insane IMAX experience.
Well, actually, I don't know if it's playing in
available.
all IMAXs because of Odyssey, so I actually don't know if you'd get that experience. Yeah,
if it's available, that would be insane. Just because some of these scenes, man, like, gosh, they totally just blew me away, and it's a different type or like different capture from a live action Spider-Man than I think has ever been done. Like obviously they're swinging in all the movies, but just how it was done, it just seems so much more modern. And it was reminding me of moments of like Top Gun Maverick when they're like actually doing like the mission with the fighter jets, and it just feels so authentic and real. And like, man, like it actually felt that way in this movie. Yeah, all this Zendaya like magic in here. Like, she's definitely getting just her juice. That's a weird way to say it. I'm gonna reel that back. She's getting more to work with in here, and it was totally successful. I pretty much like fully was bought in with the Punisher stuff. Like I was really enjoying Frank in this movie. It's not a perfect movie. Like I can definitely nitpick some things here and there. I do agree with you guys. Like there is some scenes that like the CGI doesn't look as great, like especially just the brighter scenes. But for the most part, like I was totally able to just fully buy in. What else can I really say? Let's not spoil it. Like it's all positives for me, really. Like I'm totally just riding a high right now after watching this. And like going into it, I think I was with you, Travis. Like I said, like hopefully it's like an 8 out of 10. Better than No Way Home, Detoll asks. That's a tough one. Like obviously recency bias. Like I just came out of the theater with this one, so it's fresh in my mind. No Way Home is like an interesting nostalgic trip, right? Because it captures like a lot of memories there. So I'll have to stew on that a little bit. But like I think comparable, at least right now, is what I feel.
Yeah, I'm in a weird camp where, like I said, it's yes and no. I think it's like, this movie might have higher highs taking nostalgia in No Way Home, but I think this also has like some lower lows plot wise.
I mean, this has got like Pew and Frank, which are very specific like us things as well.
100%.
So I feel like that's like almost as much value as some of those nostalgia things from No Way Home to some extent.
And also, until you asked, how was the "You're Not One of My Students" scene? We don't want to say anything. You got to wait till.
Yeah,
But
I'm not
at
gonna
least I
say
can say
anything about that.
it's. I'll just say it's not Mushroom Kingdom. It's in there at least, so you won't be disappointed. It's if you enjoy the GV meme, you won't be disappointed. But it's not what you think, So
It's not what you think. Yeah.
yeah.
I think another thing I'll throw in there is like I was genuinely laughing so much in this movie. Like it was just like a fun experience. There's scenes where it's like targeted humor that 100% got me, scenes that were not targeted humor that 100% got me, and yeah, I'll just leave it there. What else can I say? I guess yeah, a couple mystery characters I'm not going to name right now, and I say a couple because there's definitely more than one that surprised me and amazing, absolutely so amazing. I was just big smiles for me. Yeah, no, I think I'm going to round it out there because I'm scared I'm going to say too much here. Definitely go see this movie. It was great to see it totally packed in our theater too.
Yeah.
So many people were in Spidey garb. Like Spidey's just it clearly gets people ramped up for these movies. The Spidey character, and it's great to see.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see MCU movie that's with a live crowd. I was telling because Emily didn't see them. I was like, oh, wasn't like this for Thunderbolts and Captain America. It was a lot. Even Fantastic Four, right? It was a lot more quieter. So it's like, oh, that vibe's kind of there and everything. So. Anything else? So obviously, it sounds like we all recommend it if you're fans of this MCU Spider-Man stuff. Anything else, non-spoilers, just throw out there? Okay, we're going to take an ad break, and then after, we will be in the spoiler wall, so we'll be right back. We are back. Just two things to shout out. If you like what we do, and you want this episode, and everything we do ad-free, Patreon's down below. You can get over exclusive 60 episodes this year. You get a whole entire almost 11-year catalog on there, behind the scenes, polls access, join Taylor's Trivia for GV Day. Do that. If you like us and want to support us more, create more content, we'd very much appreciate it. We'd love it if you did that. So head over to Patreon. If you can't do that, just subscribe wherever. And then GV Day is happening August 8th. Actually, we'll show out the Patreon producers: Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Jack Grant, Superbad Mike, God Loves Me 69, aka Norris Fias, Hidalgo, Lenny Kravitz, Cocktail Clay, John Noach, Sam Green, John M, Matthew Fletcher. That tier, you get every single benefit we do. And as I mentioned, GV Day, we're celebrating 11 years. We're streaming for at least 10 hours. You can make it more. You go to our social medias. All the details are there. 12 events. Our 2006 version of the Oscars, a Strikers tournament, a wrestling match, lightsaber duel, badminton, Geek Versus, Pizza Palooza. It's still stuff to be announced. Guests. It's going to be a very fun time. If you haven't watched before, last few years, it's just it's my favorite day of the year for the podcast. So check that out. We'll be live, and we'd very appreciate the support, because anything you do supporting us that day by joining Patreon or sending in super chats, that funds our content for next year and sometimes beyond. So we very much appreciate it. Let's get into the movie now. Where shall we start?
Should we start with Frank?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start there.
Taylor had his gun.
Sorry,
drawn.
No,
Yeah,
I'm glad.
know
I
where
was
you
I
were
was
gonna go.
I was going somewhere wild, but let's start somewhere grounded.
You want to talk about those Mysterio memes, the 49 Mysterios with the one's Spider-Man, Yeah. Where do we
Frank.
start with Frank.
Yeah, I had so much fun with this character. I mean, I think it definitely feels like a bit of a caricature of the Frank that we've got before, which you kind of expect for something like this, to be fair. But I think going into this, didn't think he'd be in the movie a whole lot. I thought he'd get like a couple sequences or something like that. And so I think maybe I was just so surprised and delighted that he just kept being there. He kept showing up even in like the final encounter and all this fun stuff. I just had so much fun with him. I mean, I love Bernthal. I love him in this role. I love the rage. I love even when he's like dressed up as Spidey in the end and he's just like doing his Bernthal scream for no reason whatsoever. I love that when he enters the hospital and it's muted because it's like the emotional music, so you can't hear his voice, but you can just see him just yelling as loud as he possibly can in this hospital for someone to come save Spidey. And things that like shouldn't make me laugh were just when he shows up on the rooftop and drops the fucking sniper bag and opens the biggest sniper, the Beretta 50 cal from MW2, just ready to fucking go. That's his solution to the situation. I was just dying laughing, and it was just any time he was on screen, I was having the time of my life. So I know it's not quite the same Punisher that we've got before, but if you're dealing with a 10-hour show that's focused on him as the main character, of course it's going to be different than when you get in like a Spider-Man movie when he's a side character. And I think the transition really worked for me, and I'm down to just get a Frank like this every once in a while. And yeah, maybe the continuity is a bit borked, but we're also dealing with like something that wasn't even in the MCU to begin with, and now he's here, and it's been quite the journey to get to this point. So I'm very happy with the Frank we got.
This Frank is definitely a Friends of Humanity Frank. When Spider-Man's like, "Oh, I'm gonna let that Jean let the girl out of there," and then he's like, "You do that, I'm gonna do it my way." And then next scene, he's dropping the bear at 50 cal.
I don't think he's a Friends of Humanity.
Friends of
Those
Humanity are like
racist
racist.
people.
I know.
Let's not put it in that bucket.
I'm just making fun of the fact that he's just you got telepathic powers. He's out to get you. But no, I think you highlighted a lot of that spot on there, Dylan, because he definitely is a little bit more comedic, and he's very too welcoming for them to be in his boathouse and just kind of very passive. Yeah, he gets defensive when MJ's touching the pictures of his family and whatnot, but then she's just like, I see why you like this girl.
I thought he was gonna kill her in that moment. And it
I
just
was
quick
hoping
cuts
snaps
to
her
him.
neck.
I was hoping, yeah.
Yeah,
Kirkland, you go, because I have a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely a different flavor, different color to the Frank character. But man, for the most part, I feel like he's still Frank Cat. Like it's not a different performance, even though he maybe tackles certain
I'd
scenes.
say it's a little
differently.
different.
But
Frank
not
ain't
fully,
laughing like
not
this,
fully. I thought it was
know?
gonna be I was expecting him coming in here and it's just he's cracking one-liners nonstop. But when MJ and Peter go to his fucking dry dock area, his house here, a lot of this what he's talking about when he's making his chili, I felt like it was still okay, he's still that character. It doesn't feel like it's a complete 180 on
In his fucking robe.
in his role.
Go put some pants on.
Yeah, I don't know, it's
don't know,
tricky.
man.
I'm kind of caught in the middle because like that stuff is oh man, well, this is so different, but I was still enjoying it a lot, so it was difficult. But then you get into man, one of the scene that I was just cracking up on was it's an emotional one. Peter's waking up from the bed. Frank's here. He's tearing up in front of Peter, and just he's just man, I never knew anyone like you before, a true friend. I'm dude, did you not have fucking Matt Murdock multiple times trying to be a super good person and trying to
Foggy
win you over and be
Nelson.
a friend?
So see the nicest person in the fucking
the
world.
kid aspect though, right? He's
Foggy
just.
still
I
looks
think-
like
What
a
about
kid.
Sarah from season 2, Taylor?
Yeah.
I feel like he has
Well,
seen a character
Sarah,
like this, super
I-
brave, innocent, young.
to counter it though, I think it's the element of just the mask was on this whole time, and finally when the mask comes off, I think it's the equivalent of Spider-Man 2, right? Toby's on the train, and they're just seeing he's just a kid, right? And I think that's
Just
the
a
Punisher
50-year-old
thing.
kid.
That's the Frank moment here, where he's realizing this guy, he's just a kid, and he's doing all these incredible things just because it's his responsibility to do it because he can. And I think that's probably what really humbled Frank in that moment. I'm just probably reading too deep into it though.
I mean, I see the argument for sure. I think it was just the way that he was saying the line, it made it feel like he hasn't interacted with any of those characters before, or just fuck those people. I'm not even gonna mention them. Man, this Spider-Man though, I fucking love this kid.
He's my guy. He's
Yeah,
my
but
guy.
across the board, I don't think I would really change too much because I did just super enjoy the performance. And yeah, like you said, Dylan, when he comes out on the fucking rooftop with his giant rifle, man, what the fuck is he gonna do here? I'm expecting him to pull a rail gun and just nuke the whole fucking island. That seemed like that was gonna be his next option if he had it available to him.
Did you think that he killed Peter? Because I 100%, mid 99.9 started to think oh fuck,
No.
they're killing him.
I just think because we just had No Way
no.
Home ended on a sad movie, right? I don't think they do that twice in a row. And especially because most of the movies Peter's depressed, I just feel like they got to give you a little light at the tunnel there. Yeah, so it's tough for me. I think as more I watch this, I'm gonna have even more issues because there's things I'm gonna forget. I think Bernthal's great, and what I would like though now in the future, keep him like this. No more going back to Dark Frank because again, I appreciate that he's not talking about retiring or anything like that. This definitely feels like the shows and the movies aren't talking because these don't match at all. I would have rather. You remember back in the day when Daredevil, when they started that show, and they said, well, it's going to be a new continuity, but Charlie Cox is still playing Daredevil. I kind of wish they just did that with Frank, and they're like, yeah, it's going to be our Punisher, but it's still Berthal playing him, because that's what it feels like. This feels like a guy that has not gone through, even to the little stuff of what doesn't compute with the character when he's talking about oh, if I had my family, I'd give anything to be with them. No, he wouldn't. The whole show is about how he'd rather be at war, and he kind of not regrets having his family, but he's like, I can't love these people. He fucking like almost strangles his son in that show. If you don't remember, he like grabs him by the throat. You better be like smart enough. So it's like,
But he's been through a lot now, right? Like maybe he's aged and he's thought about it more. And
yeah, we
he's
just
been
haven't seen that
alone.
though, right? This is why I wish the One Last Kill was that instead of it just being like a John Wick, just really
Yeah.
violent thing. I wish they used that
One
as
last
the
kill,
way.
man. What a waste of time.
Yeah, I wish they used it as a way like, hey, we're gonna get to this point where he is a bit lighthearted, or he's had like a come to Jesus. Where think about that in wherever that show is. That happened in a couple months ago, and all those guys screaming at him. He's like, ah, like he's like super PTSD'd and fucked
Staten
up. Like,
Island.
I think there's things that's just like with the show and that really. I'm not even talking about the quipping. The quipping's fine. I knew they were gonna do that. Kids are around. They're gonna make it more lighthearted. I was prepared for that. I just thought there was some disconnect there, and yeah, I think they. I thought if they were going to ask me like how much percentage of comedy should they give them, I'd be like, okay, could you keep it in like the even 40 like 30 to 40 realm? And I think they kind of went with the 60. Little stuff like don't put him in a robe. I don't need to see Punisher in a robe. Like that's where it's feeling a little schlocky of he can just be in jeans and a t-shirt, or sweats. He doesn't have to be in a robe and make a joke that he's like walking around with no briefs and whatever. And what was puzzling to me is that he did pull the sniper. And that's why, yeah, enjoyment wise, it was funny to just see this bull around every time he's about to kill people. But I thought, okay, he's just going to be around as like a nuisance. I loved when just again, it's meme wise, but when the Hulk scene's happening and Frank just shows up and it's just Bernthal yelling, oh, he's just shooting and he's having PTSD, he's back to war, and I'm fine. He gets scared. That's okay. Those Hulk jokes, that's all fine. It's great when Gene takes over him and he's acting all like silly and stuff. That's all good. For me, what I was like, okay, he's just gonna be a side character nuisance. So at the end, when he's playing this super vital part with the sniper, I was like, why did they do this? Because they've done this in the MCU like brilliantly. Oh my God, brilliant! Oh, I can't say it. Someone say the word for me, please. Brilliantly. My God, the kill rule is treated as like a. You better not do that, Frank. Like they literally like, don't you kill her? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna handle my way. No, don't. Like, don't even get close to her. Don't kill her. I wish it was just a little more enforced the way it was in Civil War, where Black Panther, when he was after Bucky, he's like, hey, you can find your friend and you can put him in jail and try and get him help, and that's great. But if I find him first, I'm going to fucking kill him. And I wish it was a little more and that's weird that T'Challa can be like that, where Frank, who's way, way more like death penalty guy than T'Challa is, the fact that I just wish the kill rule was not used as like a joke multiple times in here. So at the end, when they're trying to make it serious that, oh shit, he's gonna shoot Gene, the whole movie it's kind of been made as like, oh shucks, Frank just likes to kill people. I wish they just pulled that back. So that's where I think I was fine with the quips and the comedy. I think they just went too hard and they kind of lost a bit of the way Punisher functions as far as like what his family meant, how he acts in situations, and just with this, again, I'm down for the change, and that's what I'm hoping. I hope from now on, if he pops up in Daredevil or we get another special presentation, I don't want to go back to him yelling and beating up walls and growing the beard. Like, let's not do that. Just have him like this now and move on. Just say, hey, something from One Last Kill and Spider-Man happened. He is a bit more lighthearted. Even this experience with Spider-Man when he shot him, great. I just don't want to go back and forth between, it feels like, oh, when he's on Disney Plus, he's a complete, I'll say pretty almost completely different character. Like he wants to kill people, sure, but the way he acts, the way he just motivates, I don't know. And even then he'll like when he kind of says like, okay, Spider-Man, we'll do it your way. Where with Matt, he doesn't take that way. He's no, I'm just gonna kill these people. So why does Spider-Man get the benefit of the doubt? Why does he get like, all right, Spider-Man, I'll give you a chance? He didn't do that, Daredevil. He's like, no, I'm gonna kill these people. Good luck. You can save them, right? So I just think there was a lot of, I think they just went too hard in some locations, but I really liked Bernthal in the movie. So, but yeah, it did bug me more than I was hoping. And we didn't really get that, what we talked about leading up. We didn't get a really conversation all about their ideologies being different. It was just kind of a joke fest there. So that was, for me, a big disappointment. That's my second biggest disappointment in this movie. So
I like your suggestion of kind of keeping him more in this realm instead of going back to the other stuff we've seen. I don't know if we'll get that because I just feel like the tone is so different for what they're trying to do in something like Daredevil and what they're trying to do here. Yeah, it's such a tricky issue, right? Because how do you take all these, multiple seasons of his show, multiple seasons of Daredevil, this other special, I guess, technically, and like, how do you like fill in like the GA who doesn't know all these things, or even like people like me who like, I don't know, I haven't watched Punisher in many years. I don't remember like all the details of that. And how do you like just barely fill in enough details to give us like the backstory that's meaningful or not? And I think the answer is you just really can't. You just give like brief little glimpses of where he's at in the past, and instead we just like have this fun side character here.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't know. It feels like he, fulfills the role that he needs to. Definitely messes with the continuity, but I don't know. I feel like there's other things that are maybe more. I maybe have more issues with like how many times Hulk has flip flopped in the MCU in terms of the character we've done with that than I do with something like Frank. I was just happy to see him on the big screen. I think so. Maybe I'm easy to please, but for me, it really worked.
And yeah, like you said, I think there's more egregious. It's not one of the most egregious ones. It's just like I said, it's just because, and maybe it's just because Bernthal for me, it's just waved that as a flag so much. And I said this on our predictions to Kirk. I just always felt it was kind of bullshit, and I just felt like it was maybe a money thing. So for him, that he's always like, no, I just wouldn't do Daredevil till they change that script to get it to where like Frank truly is. It's like. Was he reading this being like, this is my Punisher? There's no way. He was looking at those zeros on the check. He's like, yeah, I'll fucking do it. And same thing. You want to be in a movie instead of the show, right? Same thing. That's a huge thing for him. And we're not going to talk about it on the newscast, but like today they announced that Wonder Man, they renewed it. They canceled that season 2. I think we actually have a good shot of him staying this way because I don't really know how many more shows they're going to be doing on Disney Plus, like going forward. Like maybe Daredevil's safe, but I could just
keep
see
animated stuff. And,
exactly right, Dylan. Like, so that's why I feel like we might get this where it's like, and that's where I think he really worked for the crowd. Like, I think people liked him. He worked. I think you didn't need to know much about him, and people know the idea of the Punisher. And like Taylor said, I did appreciate when they talk about something like, oh, this is so nice, and he slammed it. I wish they went like a little harder, but so that's what I mean. They did not completely lose the character. I'm not saying it's like a Jared Leto Joker situation. It's just that there's a few things, but I'm hoping now that I don't know whether it's Secret Wars, even Spider-Man 5. I hope he's back and sure keep this going. And I liked his booby traps. He was like very like and they like between that and the I'm gonna kill this kid. They turned him into Marv from Home Alone. Like he felt like that. Like he had lots of Home Alone isms going on. And so yeah, I hope we see him again. And like I said, it feels like our crowd was digging him. And sure, was he maybe in like a Meet the Fockers sort of comedy at times? Was he like a Robert De Niro like playing up? Sure, but you know it's okay. So
Next time we see him, he's just fucking getting this treatment where he's going full.
Yeah, getting the shocker.
Skeleton. Yeah, man. I see where you're coming from for sure, but I think it's just like the actual scenes where he maybe went past the point of like where a normal Punisher, or sorry, not a normal Punisher, the Punisher that I've seen up till this point with Jon Bernthal, like it seemed like a jump from that character. I think I just loved the scene so much that I was just able to kind of look past it. And one scene that I absolutely loved was when they it's the Hulk scene when Punisher shows up and Peter's just like so like, man, I can't even fucking deal with this factor right now. This is such a wild card that just showed up here. And then he's like, okay, yeah, like you're gonna take care of the Hulk. I'll go deal with like and he's talking his fucking military lingo, like I'm gonna take out the source, like the main threat. And Peter like he doesn't even have time to like actually like argue with him here. It's like, don't you fucking kill like he just like is so frustrated as if he's just like scolding his child in this moment. Like he doesn't even have time, but like you better not fucking cross the line. You better not kill her. I just love that scene so much because it's not even like really a comedic scene, but just the stakes that are happening with the wild card of the Punisher. Like, yeah, he's here to help Peter, but like by his method, which is probably going to be execute this poor redheaded girl. So yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from, but man, just for myself, I totally enjoyed this whole Frank usage, and yeah, definitely more than I would have expected going into this movie, which is a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
And you know what, like, considering it's his first time versus the Hulk, I didn't think he did a terrible job. You know, he was moving on the fly. He hit him with that electric grenade.
Scared of him.
What'd you say?
Hulk looked pretty scared of him.
Bernthal was scared of him too, though. He
I
was
like
like,
when he's
oh!
like, I should have brought a bigger gun. He's like, what, so you could tickle him to death? Like Peter's just so annoyed at this guy.
It's like redacted Hulk, though, right? Like he's not full on savage yet.
That's
He's
true.
still
He's still
withholding
Professor Hulk,
back.
yeah.
So like a blow to the head disorients Gene, and then it's like you got that Achilles heel on him, right?
Yeah. I like that he was, he threw that grenade, and I was like, what's this going to do? And he shot the grenade. So it just felt like, okay, he's like, I'm not saying Frank could beat the Hulk, but at least he just didn't get completely jobbed out, which, because they'd seen in the last trailer that scene of him being like, oh, shit, and being scared. I was like, oh, no, is he just going to be like, because when they make that joke, like, you just don't want to fight the Hulk, I'm like, oh, no, they're just going to really job him out, and they're going to be like, yeah, Frank really is just like, go back to Disney Plus. But it's like, okay, he could like, I'm not saying he could beat him, but he could like, cause a good diversion of like how
He back
he's
down.
he's a support player, right? He's gonna be there. Like the
think-
scene when Spider-Man's dragging him and he's still shooting him. Like
Yeah, that was
I
good.
love it,
Cool.
man. Like
That
that
was
was
good.
that. I love that Frank
love
was
that
just
shot.
the,
That
yeah.
was such a fun
The
shot.
Hulk's here. I'm gonna fuck him up. I don't even care what he's gonna. So that spirit of Punisher they still had of like I'm going in there. I don't care what's happening. So
I like that they call it out too, where Peter's just like, this is well above your pay grade. And I mean, when you look at where he is with street level thugs to obviously the Hulk,
Yeah.
it's
He's
Yeah.
breaking up fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card traders, right, Taylor?
no, that's right.
That's probably what was going on in Staten Island, and then Peter showed up.
Yeah.
Peter
Just
showed
saying.
up, saved the
that,
kids.
and that was a good running gag. I like that. I like when MJ referred back to it, and I like that they didn't over-explain. They had that argument, but I thought that was a really good running joke, and that's all you need. That to me is like perfect. God, what is it when people are giving out?
Banter.
No, exposition. That was just like in 5 seconds, you know exactly what happened. Oh, Punisher's in trouble. Spider-Man
Yeah.
saved him, and now
They
he
have
kind of
a
feels indebted
past.
to him. Yeah, perfect. You know.
I also I really enjoyed not that they had a ton of scenes and not like a big one-on-one convo, but I really liked his dynamic with MJ. MJ, a character in the past, is like kind of dark, has a darker humor, a little off-kilter character. She didn't really feel like that here. Honestly, it feels like there's been a bit of evolution with her, I guess. But still, I like that she kind of has those roots, and so someone hadn't really considered like what would that interaction be between them. But it made sense that they kind of quickly almost understood each other to an extent and could like bounce off each other, and kind of became like Peter was like the odd man out in that
Yeah.
little trio. So I really liked that dynamic. Yeah, even if they didn't have like some big one-on-one long combo together.
Because when she's like, "Oh, I like him," and Peter's like, "Oh, of course you would." There was that,
Yeah.
and the only other time that she like was going, we didn't get the full thing, but she was going into her whole conspiracy about the Rush or the French people using mind control and everything like
Yeah.
that. So it's like, okay, she's still somewhere kind of there, right? Like that MJ, but maybe she has just like matured a bit in the last 5 years. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, definitely.
Last thing I want to say on Spidey and Punisher is like for the fact that we didn't see like the meetup like on screen, I feel like they did a good job at kind of just like building some history between those two without us actually having to see it. It seemed like they've been annoyed with each other for a while now, and I mean it was a 5-year jump in this movie. Is that what happened?
I think it's like roughly, yeah, I think it's roughly
Yeah.
real time.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they've been interacting with each other for a little while now.
Yeah.
I think it was after Hulk was being possessed, not Savage Hulk yet, and I can't tell if it was the DODC or it was Jean, but someone was looking at the cameras, and it just shows like a top-down shot of the camera of Punisher and Spider-Man, just like the Hulk is
Oh, just
rampaging
bickering,
around, and
yeah.
they're just bantering, and Spider-Man walks off, and Frank's just fucking throwing his arms up, just
Yeah.
getting so sissy fit.
At that
about
point,
it.
I actually thought Gene had already taken over Punisher, but no, he was just arguing with the air. He
Yeah.
was just, you know, so. And yeah, like I said, I would just stress it again, Bernthal did great when Gene took over him. I thought when they just look over at Bernthal and he has like the trigger and he does like a smile and
Good
stuff.
luck,
that,
Peter.
Yeah, that was great seeing like what we've seen in John Bernthal's Punisher to see what he's doing there. It works phenomenally. So
That my last thing with it is it pulled me out. I enjoyed it because the comedic aspect completely just overshadowed the idea of just it didn't seem like a Frankism thing to do. But when he's like, I got an idea to get you out of here, and he puts on Peter's mask and he's waving out the window, I'm like, this doesn't seem like what Frank would do. But I was dying laughing, so I pass it.
I was fine with that. It's completely worse for me. That's where I say when they go too far. When they went inside, now don't get me wrong, it's fantastic meme potential. But when you get the inside POV from behind, he's like, "Argh!" He's doing the Punisher scream while he has the Spider-Man mask. I'm
The
like,
scream was
I just feel like I'm very curious to see the reaction to this, right? Because I feel like the same people that were like, oh, Daredevil and She-Hulk, he's doing the walk of shame, he's doing this. I better hear the same shit about Frank, because this is the same type of thing of Frank cheering and getting excited, and he's doing the Punisher voice. Like, I'm somewhat with you, Terry. I'm like, I was fine with the thumbs up. That's okay. He needs him out of there. Right. That's what I forgot. That's what really bugged the shit out of me is when they he shoots him, he feels sympathetic, he picks him up, goes to the hospital. When Frank is just in the waiting room in the hospital,
Yeah,
no
that was odd.
fucking way. No, and this is where
No
I
one's
wish
arresting him.
yeah, no, he is
Yeah.
the entire not even the recent shows from Netflix Daredevil season 2. He is a wanted man. This is a guy who he went to prison and escaped, and then the FBI are like, okay, We will let you go as long as you fake your death and you never pop up again. And of course, what did Frank Castle do? He popped up again. And even one last kill, right? Even criminals are after him. So just for him to be sitting there in the hospital room, I was like, I'm fine with him in the room hidden, but when he was just in the lobby with doctors walking by, I was like, no fucking way. This makes zero
And
sense.
Kingpin's still mayor at this point, right? So wouldn't
No,
he
this
get,
is
like-
after.
This is after. So he's not
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
He's not mayor. Okay.
Yeah, but apparently crime rates were completely the lowest they've ever been, if you heard the news. But
Under Kingpin.
no, in Spider-Man, they
Oh,
talked about the last
yeah.
5 years, but they didn't talk at all about what Fisk did at all. And it does suck too. She confirmed, and this was rumored for a while. Rosario Dawson did have a scene in the hospital, but they cut it. I'm pissed about that. Like they couldn't even have one thing of, because that's why when Frank says like, oh, when Peter wakes up and he's all worried, and Frank's like, "Oh, don't worry, I took care of it." That's what it was supposed to be. That she set them up so he could have like an area not to be like Peter not
That's
to
a
be
shame.
seen. So that sucks for her. She still got paid, so it's fine. But I would have liked that just one scene, tie that all together. So hopefully, like on a DVD or a Blu-ray or something, because I like Claire. We've been waiting for her to come back. Kingpin actually made New York safer. Bro deserves his flowers. I'm sure there's many New Yorkers that feel that way. But so that's actually, out of all the things, was maybe the most egregious Punisher thing, that he was just in the hospital. And imagine you're just on your shift. Like, Kirk, what if Shay's just like working, she's doing her job, and she looks over and there's the Punisher sitting there just like looking all worried.
I know,
Like, you'd
yeah.
get the fuck out of there. Like, no way you're doing your regular 9 to 5,
Yeah, that one really stood out to me. I thought for sure they would at least like have a comment, like, or something about it, but I mean, it's probably easier to not even, because a lot of people in our theater probably haven't even seen.
Well, that's
like,
right. The
Punisher
GA has
shows or
no
anything.
idea.
Yeah.
You're totally right. GA is just going in there saying,
Yeah,
"Oh, it's just
that's true.
Punisher," so he can
He's
sit
just a
wherever he wants.
vigilante. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? I got to tell myself that, because that's what they're aiming here for, right? I guess it just feels weird because we got the special, right? So I just almost feel like leave it born again. But I hope we see him again, and I hope this showed that we don't need to get him in the War Machine suit. I don't mind if we do that, but keep him this way. Get him more, get him now with the big black leather now, and like the belt that has like the teeth for the skull. Keep going harder. Go get them all really comic
Give him a
booky.
spirit of vengeance.
Well, Gosling just got cast. Let him have that. So, let's see. And here's a good transition. William from Sci-Fi Center. Check him out. He's been on our trivia battles before. Good guy. Thought the Jean story was strong, but misplaced in this film. Not enough to hurt the movie, though. I think I'm with you, William, except for that's my big crux that I was talking about, that it just bugs me. At no point does she just try to be like, hey, Spider-Man, they fucking stole my sister. They might have killed her. Like, it just feels odd. She would never. She's talking to him about everything, about MJ, about Ned, his life. She's seeing Aunt May. Clearly, she's seen enough a little bit to be like, oh, Peter Parker, even if she's working with damage control, he's not a complete piece of shit, right? She's seen enough in his mind to know, like, he's, somewhat maybe a good guy. So even just to try, though, because what would it hurt her saying anything with the sister? She's already locked up. She's already captured. It would hurt nowhere to her. So that's why I said it's the BVS problem, where why doesn't she just ask or even try? It was very frustrating that, when she gets shot with a trank, Sarah. So that really broke it from me, and that took it down quite a few notches, actually. So
Yeah, that actually did not bother me. And the reason it did not bother me is I thought they did a pretty good job at just like the shock of her realizing like actually the reality of what happened to her sister. Like, she's looking VMAX, this code name, like it's got to mean something. I loved how that was done too. Like when she was asking that, was his name Wesker? No, there's no way.
no.
There's
I'll
What's
get
his
it for
name?
you.
Yeah.
It's like William
But,
something.
Yeah.
Metzger, right?
Metzger.
Metzger, yeah.
Yeah.
Metzger. Or,
This fucking guy.
P-G-E-R.
Yeah, she's like questioning about it, and he's like, that's the second time that anybody's ever at, like, he like just genuinely did not know. So I was like getting really curious what that VMAX actually was going to be. And then when she looks up and sees it, and just like the shock of like, oh, my sister's just dead, and this is the reality of it. She has her super fucking power spike that just nuke, well, it doesn't nuke, but stasis is that, if that's even a word? Just
She Wanda's
For-
the city.
yeah, pretty much,
You know,
actually.
whatever that town's called.
It goes all like 1950s or whatever. No, that didn't happen. But yeah, just like super shock moment. And I just took it like she's just burning the whole world. Like, fuck it. I am so like emotionally compromised here. The only thing that I had holding me down, like actually grounding me in this world, is like my sister that I'm trying to find. That's my only goal. She's gone. She's forever gone. She's just dead here. and she's so like already emotionally compromised at that point. Like she's just been tortured in this like this room, whatever the hell it is. Like for her to just like actually be like, I'm gonna kill Spider-Man here. Like, okay, yeah, I can see it being like this is a little extreme, but she's not thinking clearly at all. And like, I feel like from the get-go, she's not thinking clearly until and then here gets the VMAX revelation and just. Yeah, like I don't know. I just took it in that sense of like I'm just gonna burn the whole world and I don't care anymore. Like I am just so down and I like nothing's gonna get me out of this hole. And that's where like when we get to the fucking Aunt May scene, like man, that scene worked so well for me because it just came like right after all that, and I was already feeling this way about Jean of like, man, she's actually just so compromised here, and then to just have the scene with Aunt May that it's like, man, like this is just such a well placed. Oh, I was getting emotional in that scene. It worked so well for me. But yeah, that was kind of how I was able to, I think, swallow the Jean Grey kind of. Because yeah, I can see it of like even before that, like why doesn't she just talk to Peter like this is my goal? This
Well,
is
that's
what
what I
I'm trying
said.
to do.
Yeah, because you did list the times when she saw her sister was dead, but remember for the first two acts, she thinks her sister's alive. So she's compromised, but not to me to the point where she wouldn't just even try to like talk to Spider-Man. And it's like,
But,
especially
like,
this
he's
movie.
working for the DODC. Like in her mind, like she doesn't have time to really like. I don't know. It's
It's
just
I guess,
trust
but
issues,
why-
right? Like
why-
she's
yeah.
hurt.
But then why wouldn't she just say that? Like, wow, everyone says you're a hero. There's banners of you, and you're the piece of shit helping these guys holding my
She's
sister.
having more fun portray MJ.
Well, yeah, like it just
Fucking with this
there's
guy's
no logical reason why she wouldn't even say anything about it. It's
Fair
very Saturday morning
How
cartoon.
old is she in this? Like, how old is she?
I think she's like Sadie Sink age, like 24.
Really?
I mean-
I took it that she was supposed to be a lot younger.
Like, I feel like, okay, Topa saying right, Sanju in the chat, young Jean Grey without parental guidance, you know, she's hurt, she's completely alone, and she's going to be making rash, emotionally compromised
Sure.
decisions. And like Kirkland said, like, yeah, Spider-Man's working with the DODC. Like, how do you gauge that, right? And I mean,
But she
was,
tells him later on though, when the plot needs her to, right? And show Sarah. So why? It comes up still.
I think that was her just kind of. I don't feel like that was her being, and it's my own interpretation, of course. You know, she just got hit with drugs, so you're. What's on the last thing on her mind, right? She's like, Sarah, you know, that's the last thing she was thinking, and she vocalized it.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
Dylan.
I don't know. I think maybe I'm a bit divided on some things. Like even when she like intentionally lets him like see her face, I didn't really know what her game. It feels like she had such a good game plan, and then she just like lets him get that scan on her. Maybe she didn't know about his like scanning tech or something like that. But it seems like she knows everything about him. So she would know about something like that. But I just didn't see like what the point was of that. So I think the movie struggled a bit with like how powerful she is and
Yeah.
trying to like limit her and make it so she could get beaten. Felt like the movie did struggle a bit in like finding a way to make that feel balanced in a way. So I can definitely see that there's that storyline I maybe had like a bit more issues with overall, but I think where I'm I guess a little bit happier with it is I love the way it closes out. Like just that Aunt May scene I think is really clever, really interesting the way they do that. You know, obviously there's a flashback sequence where she's looking over at like a mom playing with her kid, and obviously you can tell that there's a lot of grief in this kind of relationship that she didn't have with her mom. And kind of getting that through Aunt May is like a really cool way to relate her character to Spider-Man and feel that connection with him and trust him. And then obviously right after that he sacrifices himself for her, so that kind of like solidifies that he wasn't just saying this to like talk her down.
Yeah.
And then it's like really sweet that she's like keeping him alive like through her powers, just hanging out in the park, just like making sure there's enough brain activity so that he doesn't pass away. So I think that, you know, while it's maybe a little bit clunky how we get to some of these moments, I think it's just honestly that's maybe just a symptom of a character like this who's jumping through different minds and stuff. And like if we had got more Sadie Sink doing these things, maybe we would feel differently because we'd feel a little more connected or we would understand it a bit more. But when you're getting it through like here's some random like security guy, here's some random traffic control guy, here's some random like security guard who are kind of like obfuscating like her thoughts and her conversations, I don't know. It definitely makes it like harder to have that full connection. And so I get so immersed in these movies. Sometimes I totally like it until she popped up. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot Sadie Sink is in this movie, just because I just get totally locked in with these things. Which
He's
is
locked in.
probably good, but also like that's why we'll never solve what's happening in like a Knives Out movie because I'm just like so focused on like the thing I'm seeing right in front of me. So yeah, I think the way it closed out like really worked for me, but definitely the way we get there, maybe there's some choppiness on the way there.
Yeah, no, and that's why I want to specify that. That's the only thing that I have an issue with Jean Grey. I like the debut. I'll be interested to see how people, like me and Dylan talked about this recently on Side Quest, right? I'm gonna see interested to see how people respond to this adaptation of Jean Grey because I've said before, one of my favorite adaptations of Wolverine is Ultimate X-Men, where he's with Magneto and he sends him to the X-Mansion to kill Charles, and then Charles turns him. So Wolverine kind of starts as a villain and he turns around. Jean is definitely a villain here. There's one line that, again, to me doesn't make sense when Peter, he's trying to talk her down. He's like, I know you're not a killer. We did see her throw an old man into traffic in this movie when she took over that old guy for some reason randomly.
He
She
was
made him
not
walk
safe.
in the street.
He was not safe.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, why is she just having innocent people killed in the road? So that's where it's just like, I get the whole, I see Sanjay says, oh, grief and loss makes you do crazy things. I get that, but at the end of the day, if she's going to be an X-Men, and I'm fine with it. That's what I'm saying. I guess I'm of two minds here. The line of Peter saying, "I know you wouldn't hurt anybody," that's a lie. She hurts multiple people in this movie. That makes zero sense. Again, why did she kill that old guy?
You know,
I
you can
someone-
say things that you don't believe, right?
That's true. Yeah, and I guess Peter is a fucking liar. Right?
Like maybe Frank does feel like he's had this connection with people in the past, but you still say that to Peter in the moment, right?
And again, I know someone's gonna be like, "Well, we don't know if that old man died. He probably just got hurt." Sure, that's fine.
He's dead.
Yeah,
He's totally dead. Come on
He's
now.
not walking again for sure.
yeah, but and again though, that's where it's interesting, right? And then we talked about this too. Sanjay says like, "Want to start off as a killer, and people still love her." I agree. It took some time because for a while people didn't care about Scarlet Witch, but I also worry. I hope they don't like follow the same trajectory and it just is like a carbon copy of that because it is very similar. But I thought the Wanda stuff in Age of Ultron was done much better than this stuff. You're not trying to give too much credit to Joss Whedon, but I think the motivation's way more there for Stark and her people versus the motivations here for the sister. I like them. That's my only issue is the her not talking to Peter. It just doesn't make sense to me. The rest of the stuff, performance wise, she's great. When she's in the chair, they're trying to get the brain waves. That's great. That scene with Aunt May is fantastic. Kudos to them for making Spider-Man Far From Home better because that's always been a huge complaint of mine is we got the reveal that he's Peter Parker and they never really talk about it, him and Aunt May. They're just like, you're Spider-Man. Well, that's crazy. And it's just cool. There's always such a big moment in a Spider-Man movie for Aunt May to finally find out who Peter was, and they never really did much with that. So they kind of retroactively made that better. So it's great to see Marissa Tomei, and they kept using that as like a guide. They kept coming back to it. They came back to it 3 different times, and when she swaps and takes his place, that was great. And the motivation's there. The scene's a little clunky of like the damage controls watching her sister, but they just like let Jean like get away. Like they clearly know she's on this bench, right? Sarah Gray. Why wouldn't they be all around, right? It's just like very easy. Like, well, I'll take over your mind. I'll make you go stand by a tree, and they're never gonna find you. Yeah, I guess. I wish there were.
I don't know if they know that she has powers like her sister.
They wouldn't take her though, like just to be sure. Like they took Ned and Zendaya in No Way Home and had them locked up for a little bit. So they just take random people. So that's where that to me, I just feel like it just felt. I feel like with the Jean Grey character, unfortunately, there's just a lot of conveniences that I think over time will not age the greatest. But the whole there is, I think it's a good introduction to the X-Men. I think that's where too it is. I think it's still smart. I think it's good. I think it's a good way to get us moving. It is a lot for. It does feel like the third act of a Spider-Man movie kind of gets taken over to be like a pilot for the X-Men. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing because it's a big deal and that's what you do. But I do understand where I think some people might push back on that of, hey, the resolution of a Spider-Man movie is him setting up the X-Men, even though he has now become the fucking Oppenheimer of this universe. He has inadvertently created the device that's going to fuck over all the mutants in the future with that device thing, right? They use that 97, the necklaces. So, and he even says that, Metzer, he's like, oh yeah, Spider-Man created this inhibitor and we can take you down. So that I really hope that comes back, and I hope like someone like Magneto in the future. There's a meme going around. I hope it's Magneto or Wolverine. I hope they fucking hate Spider-Man for that and be like, hey, You're the reason why a bunch of us are dead now or locked up because you made this thing. So I hope it comes back and it's not just a thing that they never really talk about again. I'm hoping him dropping that line of, oh, Spider-Man made this. That'd be a great dynamic of what if all the X-Men are like, fuck Spider-Man, but Jean's the only one like, no, he's a good guy. He saved me. But Scott, Beast are like, no, this fucking guy, he made it so people can be like in concentration camps and took them away. So,
That's where I feel like, okay, this is like a direct tie-in, and this kind of ties also into the last episode of X-Men 97,
Yeah.
Mr. Sinister. This fucking guy created the inhibitor chips in
He helped
the
him out.
Savage Lands, right? Yeah, they both work together. And so now I'm just thinking like, okay, like what if they tie in, and I doubt it, but Mr. Sinister has some kind of connection to the origins with Peter Parker with Spider-Man, his mutation, like we don't
I
know
don't think
exactly
we're
how
going
that
that
worked
far
out.
back. I don't think
You
we're going that
never
far
know. I
back,
mean,
no.
they could bring it full circle, but it's the Mr. Sinister inhibitor stuff really got me kind of juiced. And even then with Metzger, it just felt like this guy's obsessed with Jean Grey now with these experiments. Thought like, man, this just has like that sinister vibe to it, just like a discount parallel version, of course, of it, because it's not Nathaniel Essex or whatever his name is. So yeah.
Did anyone have Aunt May on the character draft?
I can check, but
Because that would have been a good. Because that was
Would've
definitely
been
not
a
in the
good
marketing,
pick,
right? That
yeah.
she's in there. at all?
No, it wasn't.
So
in
that
the
would have been a
marketing.
good surprise pick. Actually, I didn't even think about that at the time. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I will do a quick search just to make sure here. But yeah,
No, it's a
that-
good idea. First follow-up movie, like after her death, like how would there not be a flashback? Yeah, as soon as I saw her, I'm like, fuck, that would have
Yeah.
been such a good pick.
I feel like again for people, and I don't have this problem, but people, you're never getting Uncle Ben. She's now used as like the the guidance, right? Like
He had
now
the slogan on his board, right? Great power comes great responsibility. or
that's from
whatever.
Aunt May. Remember the No Way Home? She's
Yeah,
said that,
I know.
not
That's what I
Ben.
mean. You
Yeah.
don't need,
Oh,
you don't
okay,
need
yeah.
Ben. He's already
Yeah.
got that slogan to live with.
Yeah, that guy, he's
gone.
gone. We don't need him.
Yeah. What the fuck was this called? Superhero draft. My goodness, I couldn't find it there for a bit. Or no, the Marvel draft. That's what I'm looking
Marvel
for.
character
Sorry.
draft, something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I'll find
Yeah.
it. Let's take another ad break, and then we'll be right back. We are back. Anything else? No, nothing on Aunt May. So,
Wow.
yeah.
missed
So obviously,
opportunity.
Dylan, you got your 25 points. Jean Grey, obviously, Dylan, you got your 5 points there. I got my 5 points for Yelena, and then Taylor, you got your 5 points for Hulk, and I think that's it. Kirkland, I don't think he had anybody in here, so I'm sorry about that. But some points on the board there. But anything about else about Jean Grey, mutant stuff? Mutants are here. It's kind of obviously it's been rumored for like a year, so we've kind of talked about that. But it is we talked about it for so long for the first 10 years of the podcast about X-Men MCU, and it's crazy that it's just kind of it is here now, right? It's leading to like she's on that bus, and I'm sure she's gonna bump into a bald guy being like, "You fucking killed that old man. I like you."
You need a family.
Yeah, which I was gonna say with Jean being this vicious, I don't think they'll go that route. But this Jean feels way more like she would be in line with being with Wolverine versus Scott Summers because the way she was handling stuff, like she's got the bad girl vibes. But sometimes Jean doesn't, right? Jean's the good girl until the Phoenix happens, which that was so funny. When they were talking about her brainwaves popping off, I didn't want to talk to Kirkland in the middle of the movie like that, but I was like, oh, I was hoping the Phoenix would pop up just to fuck with Kirkland because he's like,
That was
her
literally
brain's-
where my mind was going, especially when
Right?
like that super nuke goes off. I'm like,
Yes.
is this actually we're just starting this right now?
We've
This is
never
gonna
seen
be, like, the little-
brainwaves like this before,
I'm like waiting for an end credit of like some sort of Phoenix reference or something like that. Thank goodness that didn't happen there. But yeah,
And no, it's a good bring up because I think this is going to be a touching way with people. DWS says, I'm just having trouble with this being the starting point for Jean. The performance was good. I just don't like her having this dark chapter right before that joins the X-Men. Because, again, for me, it's kind of tough of what happens in the X-Men and the Damage Control and Friends of Humanity. It's like, hey, we hate these people because they're weird and different. We want to take them down. And the mutants are like, we might be weird and different, but we're not here to hurt you. Where in this universe, even though the sister was kidnapped, if you're just like an everyday person, how can you not want Jean Grey caught and kidnapped? Right? Like if we're like, oh, how this old man die? Oh, well, someone possessed him and put him into a crowd. He's just an innocent guy. Fuck yeah, she should probably go to prison, right? I'm fine with it as an adaptation, but it is an odd choice for the X-Men. Like people would actively be against them then, right? Because she's a mutant that was hurting or potentially killing. Even then, she had those guards shoot each other, the damage control guards. I guess they're guards for damage control, but still, it's like, are they making all the calls or are they just working there? So it is, I think it's going to be very mixed. And I do think I'll give them points for being bold, but I think for starting off with the MCU X-Men, I think them starting that way is, I'll just say risky. I'll say risky, but.
A bold way to start for sure. And I mean, man, she is powerful. Like, I don't think obviously some of the Phoenix stuff we've seen before on the big screen or like in the animated show or something, that can be an insane power level, but just straight up Jean without Phoenix Force, whatever fused with her, whatever's going on here, like, oh my God, extremely, extremely powerful. Omega level times like 3. So I'm curious to see how they tone her down, because it's going to be hard to believe that she won't be able to instantly dismantle any enemy the X-Men ever have to face, honestly.
Well, yeah, like, are they going to tone her down though? You know?
I mean, don't you kind of
She's gonna have
have to,
more
or else like
control.
how do they lose any fight ever?
Like, I think you just explain like that nuke moment. Like she's thrown into the fucking whatever the hell that thing is called, where she's just jumping. I guess it's just multiplying her power and like just stressed. Like they just applied a lot of stress to her. Where I feel like next time we see her, it's gonna be all about
Well,
how we normally see her, of like tone it down, calm down.
I guess where I am, because I can buy that, right? The X-Men do that where if you get super emotional, like look at Wolverine, Berserker mode, right? But I feel like even before the Sister Death reveal, I feel like she's way more powerful than any Jean we've seen before, whether it's
Yeah,
Femke or
definitely,
Sophie. So that's what I mean, like, I don't think this woman even needs Xavier's help. Like that's what's odd, and that's where, because I know other people brought this up. William says, "Will this be the same Jean Grey post Secret Wars in the once the multiverse is consolidated?" I still think so. I know there is that theory of Secret Wars happens and then you meet another Jean. I don't think so. I think you got Sadie Sink. She signed multiple ones. I think that she's there for the long haul.
I
They
mean-
didn't hint at anything about her being from like a different universe or anything like that. So I think she's just our Jean Grey, and MCU is going to do a different type of origin in
Yeah.
MCU, right? Or
And this is
X-Men.
definitely where we could see, like, I feel like Emma Frost makes a lot of sense as being an early villain, if she
Yeah.
is a villain.
Yep.
Because that just kind of directly countering like this power set here, which we've now seen is ridiculously strong. So I could see that being an early villain, or even like, I don't know, on the team somehow, and somehow connecting with that power in some way. We'll see, but I can see
Yeah,
that character being in there.
I think you're probably right with your first assessment, where if she's a villain, that's like a good like counter, right? Because they would do that even in First Class, where Charles Xavier would be like blocked out because Emma would like dime in his mind. So that's the way you could do that, right? Where she kind of like a depower, and then plus I would love that if they do the romantic triangle with Scott, because it's like, oh, the one person that can stop Jean is the other person he's like maybe romantically interested in, and there's some jealousy thing there. So
Yeah,
Family Clay says you don't become an Omega 11 mutant, you just are one. I know it's just weird that they almost start that way, but I guess also we forgot they've confirmed that she's in Secret Wars, and maybe that's why they just want her to be powered up because she's going to fight Doom and stuff, right? And like, we don't have time
I
to
don't
be
think
like,
I knew that.
oh yeah, so it's part of her deal. It's like when they reported it, she was in Spider-Man and in Secret Wars. So, and I think she's rumored to have a 5-picture deal. So they just confirmed those two.
By the way,
so.
did they announce Gosling is like in Secret Wars? Because I haven't caught up on any of that news yet.
No, but it's heavily rumored him and David Johnson are going to be in that movie. So the new Black Panther as well.
Right.
So I think they will be, and that's why I think Sadie will be like this. Because like, do we have time for Sadie to be like, I don't know if my powers work, guys, when Doom's there and he's throwing like god level stuff at them.
Jean
So.
versus Wanda battle going on for sure.
Absolutely right. That's why you power up, and this is why I'm just so excited to have the X-Men in the MCU. Sanju says, "Does the 616 have a Wolverine somewhere?" I'll say no. I think you're gonna get the universe. I think,
Collision universe.
yeah, after Secret Wars, yes, but right now I don't think there is. But Adamantine is out there, so. They made Jean really too young. Wolverine needs to stay away from her. No, it's fine. Same actress, I agree. But what it is I saw tonight still canon after realities are merged. Yeah, we'll have to see. There's going to be lots of stuff. But I would say don't take any comic book lore or stuff we know to heart, because it's the MCU and they'll change a bunch of stuff up, So
How much time do you guys think passed from when like her sister was kidnapped to when like the events of this movie are happening? I couldn't tell if it was like weeks or months or years. I was really lost on that.
I feel like years is a long time. A year.
A year.
I feel
yeah,
like I could be there.
I think I'm in like the 6-month territory.
Like she just goes trains her powers up a bit, and then when she
Yeah.
feels strong enough, goes to mess him up.
Does some digging, looking around, so.
She does look younger, I think, in that flashback, like on the bench. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Sadie Sink also just looks young, so it's kind of tough to judge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. No, we'll find out in the future. But yeah, it's hey, for Jean Grey, great actress. I'm very excited to see what they
Yeah.
do with her. We kind of all thought that when the rumors were there, and she killed it. Those scenes where she's in the scene when the sister reveal, all that stuff. Great job. And her and Holland had good chemistry too. So I hope they kind of keep them as pals in the future when there's secret wars. Like someone saying, oh, if they do another Civil War movie, those two should be in lock together now as like trust each other going forward. So.
Definitely, that'll be
Yeah.
cool duo.
Yeah. Speaking about trust, let's talk about Ned and MJ and Peter stalking them and how that goes. Because obviously that was a big point of they get the Forgotten spell. 5 years pass. They have forgotten. Peter sees Ned. He's been following them obviously on Instagram, all this stuff. He sees Ned at a convenience store that has Bureaus and Talkies. Talkies was all over
Bureaus,
this
yeah.
fucking movie, man. But
Yeah.
Bureaus was as well. So good sponsors there. But he follows them to the apartment, and then we get that scene from the trailer. But then we progressively see them learn more and more. Taylor, how did you feel they handled the Ned MJ dynamic here with Peter?
And MJ's
finding
boyfriend.
them.
Don't forget him, even though he's forgotten about
Right,
after the
One
first
scene.
scene.
Mr.
yeah, one scene.
Ezra from
Ezra Bridger, yeah.
Ezra Bridger from Ahsoka. Honestly, because when we were talking about this before, you had kind of put the idea in the back of my head like, oh, she's going to remember earlier on in the movie, and we're just going to be back in it. And so I was going in with that.
Who's you? You talking to me?
You.
I'd like to
You.
see the receipts on that, but
I remember you talking about how they're just going to have her remember. And
no,
so
I know that's
was,
what you said. I just would like to see the receipts because I don't remember that. So I don't think
Oh,
that's true.
I'll find them.
I
Give
don't
me
think it's a
5
true
years.
statement.
Give me 5 years.
Sure, we'll return back on Spider-Man 5. Yeah, I'm waiting.
So they set it up, of course, like, okay, she's remembering, but obviously it's detract because it's Jean Grey just playing the puppet strings. I love that twist, and I love that, okay, they're just hanging out, and I felt like on top of the scene where they're all just hanging out in their suite and he's just wearing his Spider-Man suit, you get a lot of that throughout the whole movie of him just interacting with everyone just wearing the Spider-Man suit. And I feel like that alone is a visual that you don't really get in the other Spider-Man movies. He's just quick scenes, he throws a couple lines out, he's fighting, but then he's back into his regular clothes and he's interacting as Peter Parker. But in here, him just hanging around with MJ and Ned in his Spider-Man suit, I really enjoyed it. And them just doing the Lord of the Rings quote too was making me smile, and then like even at the end when Peter does like the handshake to him to make him remember, like there's all these fun little things, and it just feels like a really genuine friendship between the three of them. And then of course when MJ flips the paper around and it's the sketch of Peter without his costume on, with sitting there with Ned and they're building the Lego, it just pulls at the heartstrings a little bit there too. But yeah, I feel like in the previous movies where Ned was a little bit, I don't want to say too zany and too much. I feel like this one, like he has that, but it just feels a little bit more kind of mature and toned down, and in just a more of like a simmered way that I enjoy too. And I never felt like him and MJ had that kind of friendship in the previous three movies, as opposed to here, where it genuinely feels like the two of them have grown as friends, which I can appreciate. And so when you just see Peter watching from the sidelines, it's sad and depressing, but when he gets immersed into that, I enjoy that. And I like too, every time he was going to not interact, but like they kept coming back into his life when he would go and get flowers every instance. And so I feel like that's a way of them having Aunt May kind of insinuate to him and just kind of go and socialize, go and reconnect, and don't do it alone, which just ties back into just the whole like mind conversation that she has with Peter. So they did that twice when he was getting his like fire drink, because he was in there getting the flowers, and he follows Ned, and then after at the end when he's like buying the flowers and sees Ned at the end of the movie. So
That's a good observation. I didn't really clue into the flower tie there. The fire drink thing, that's just seemed like such a weird obsession to throw on Ned for some reason to me. I
Yeah,
don't know why.
Ned was an
It
addict,
just
yeah.
seemed really weird. Yeah. He's like, do not sell that to me no matter what. He's like, okay, sell it to me. And like, I don't know. I do like this Ned. So I feel like overall, like I enjoyed him, I think 100% in this entire movie. He wasn't super overdone in my opinion. I also just found it hilarious that he's just fucking live streaming like his entire university
Yep.
career. Like, of course, it's good or bad for Peter because it's kind of torturous. Him just looking at these videos of these two people that he can't interact with for years. I also thought that was just like really like a gut punch when it's like, okay, first day university. It's like, we're finally graduating. I'm like, did they really just go like multiple years? But yeah, they did that. And Peter's just been on his own for that long. And like that ties into like my saving grace when it comes to the trailer stuff. Cause that's where I was like, man, we're just getting right back to like the MJ not loving. I don't know why I'm going to the L word there, but just remembering Peter. Like, but man, that was totally not MJ. That was Gene, but also big time jump that makes it a lot more palatable. Like if like Peter was on his own for years, like just looking at them through the window, through the Instagram reels or whatever. And for me, that totally just helped palette that, and I was totally okay with like, okay, yeah, this actually has been a reasonable time for him just being depressed and alone and just fully focusing on Spider-Man. But the big reoccurring theme in this is like, you know, like you can't do it on your own, even though like you're trying to save these people. Like you as a human, you're not just full arachnid, like you are a combo of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And I thought that was just done really well. And because I was just like, man, why do they have to show this to me in the trailer? I'm glad. I don't feel bad about it anymore. But yeah, the Ned stuff, I thought all that was really good. Like when you seen Maynard in the in the house party going through his wall. I like the scenes. Like, yeah, like I thought it was weird also when like MJ just gut punches Peter. Like, yeah, no, I don't love you. Like, she's being super real and like totally like, yeah, I don't know what to say because I just don't have those memories. Those aren't in me. And I thought it was weird. She's like, you want to come up and like hang out? I'm like, I feel like this is just like even worse because he's just like I don't know. He's
Wallow
probably
in your
crying under that
sadness,
mask.
bitch?
Yeah, he's probably crying
Want me
under that
to fuck my
mask.
boyfriend in front of you?
It not to that extreme, but like it felt kind of like that. But then, you know, I am happy. I thought the scene was really, really just sweet. Ned just obsessing over Spider-Man, asking all these questions. So like all of that was really, really good. Yeah,
It's like a Gamora equivalent.
I thought they were going there, and I kind of wish they did. Unfortunately, by the end of the movie, it's not negative. I don't know where we are. I'm leaning towards they're going to get back together because they're both sitting on a rooftop and like smiling, like, and they set up that for no reason. Like the boyfriend came in and seemed like a completely like really cool guy, and then she's kind of shit talking him on the side. It's like, okay, so I guess he's like a dirtbag or something great. Like, so that's something, but. I was really hoping that scene when she said, I don't know you, I don't love you, and she left. I'm like, man, they did it. They had the balls just to like drop that nuke and like, no, MJ's gone. Cause then I'm like, and at that time too, it went to nothing. We got introduced to that blonde neighbor. I'm like, that's fucking Gwen Stacy right there. I'm like, here we are. And then when I started walking the other guy, I'm like, no, it's not. But I'm like, that's what's going to happen. MJ's gone. She doesn't know him, but then he's going to have this neighbor. Cause he did a moment where when they walked by, he like looked back like around the corner to see her. So I'm like, that's where they're going. MJ's gonna say, no, sorry, I don't know who you are, and then Gwen's gonna be there, and then yeah, like to me, it's not a bad scene, but like Kirkin said, it was weird. Like, oh, you want to come up? It's like, what? You just had this very emotional, dramatic, like goodbye. Like the only reason you're here is because he had to swing you home. So I like the scene after. I just wish they maybe, like I said, went that route, but. I don't know. I'm not trying to sound shitty, but I just feel like as long as they're married, which good for them. I just feel like it's always going to be those two in the movie, right? Like I don't think there's ever going to be a time where he has a new love interest or anything, which I think would actually maybe help some of these movies. Ned's Ned for me. I would have been fine if Ned got killed off in Homecoming. I don't get much from the Ned character. I just like
that's so savage.
Yeah, like I think everything that he fills,
It's
MJ does.
Hobgoblin though.
Yeah.
Hopefully, then Frank can
keep
fucking
drinking
gun him
these fucking
down.
flame drinks, and that's
yeah,
what's
he's gonna
turn
evolve. He's
into
gonna
the
have his
goblin.
DNA is
No.
gonna mutate with
That's the breadcrumbs.
I think if anything, again, in this movie showed like this guy would not have the capacity to pull off Hobgoblin. He just doesn't.
The
He's
goatee,
just
the goatee version. that
no.
he has?
It's just. I'm sorry. It's just the acting quality. I just don't think it's there. I think it's just like it still stands out to me even more so because I feel like Tom and Zendaya are better. So yeah, I don't think I need Ned, but still fun like kind scenes and everything, you know. So, An amazing scene with her. I figured it out like halfway through, but amazing scene of the
Oh
Jean
yeah,
Grey.
fucking brag about how smart you are.
I did. I no. Kirkland knows. I turned. Did you figure out Kirkland? Right? What was going on
What's that?
there? When Zendaya kissed him, but it was actually Jean Grey.
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
you did because we were
yeah.
okay. Yeah,
no, I
me and
did,
Kirkland were
yeah.
like, oh, it's bad. And
I was
just
like
the-
cringing because I'm like, this
Yeah.
is gonna hurt so hard for
yeah,
Peter
just because
here.
it was
Yeah.
way too much. Like, I love you, and I remember everything. I'm like, oh no, it's not. But that
I
was.
didn't at first, but like as soon as she
Yeah,
goes in for
it
the
took some
kiss and
time.
everything, I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah. No, and great scene when she backs up on the light and she's red and everything. And same thing too, she backs off the wall, almost kills MJ right in front of him. It's like, again, Jean Grey is very very vicious, but a great scene. And again, Zendaya got to play a different type of role there. That was more like Euphoria Zendaya. So it was great to see. So.
He saves her like Peter 3, right? Same thing. Not like
Yeah, he
where he
did
shoots
save
down
her.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, Gwen,
definitely-
the web and snaps her back. This, like, he goes, pulls her to him, grabs her, and then he takes the blunt of the fall when he lands on the ground.
Yeah, and even the
She
shot
almost
of
dies,
him.
but
Yeah.
she doesn't. So.
Even the shot of him checking on her is very Garfield, Emma Stone, like him
Yeah.
cradling the head, and he checks that and everything. And I did laugh later on when he's like, "Oh, just so you know, like I did kiss you when Jean Grey, but I didn't know." In my head, I just and we just we kept making out, and like
One
we're
thing led to
we're engaged now. But like it doesn't mean anything. It's all cool. Like you might have spent the night over.
It's a touchy thing to touch upon in a kids
100%.
movie, like a girl unwillingly, unconsciously making it's
They
a touchy
keep
thing.
doing these. Remember Wonder Woman 2 when Steve Trevor took over that guy's body and Diana
Yeah.
fucked him, but it's like she like
don't remember
technically
that.
sexual assaulted that guy, but like
Mm-hmm.
it was like under the guise of magic, and it was like these movies keep doing this where they keep putting these heroes in these questionable
Those could be
situations.
yeses, right? As a wise man once said.
Yeah, geez, so
God.
but he did the right thing. He told her he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Good guy Peter,
And she remembers, right? At the end, she's got her necklace from
doesn't
Far From
remember.
Home.
Well, no, that's what I was going to ask you guys. Why? Because he says all this, right? And Zendaya, MJ's like, I don't know who the fuck you are. I don't love you. Sorry, bro. But, we'll hang out.
The Thanos line.
I don't even
I
know
don't
who
even
you
know
are.
who you are.
Yeah.
She actually dropped it on him. That's so.
But at the end, when he does the whole whatever handshake with Ned,
Yeah.
Ned's like, oh, Peter. Why is that?
Yeah, not a fan of that. Not a fan of that at all.
I think I can help you,
Dylan.
Dylan, but I want to go to the room. I want to go
I
around.
didn't
Why
mind
is
it.
that?
So he finds out that Spider-Man's name is Peter, right, in this movie.
Yeah.
And so that one made sense. That he made the link there for the for me, they did interact with someone in school, and just because they
Yeah.
forget Peter doesn't mean that he loses the muscle memory of like that particular handshake. And I feel like that was just something that he was doing, and then after that, that's when he clues into the Peter reference. So I think that's when the revelation came. Shay was asking me the same thing, and like she was not buying that at all either. She didn't really love how that was done. I think it's fair. I was kind of expecting him to do like the classic Ned, like Peter, and then like that is how the movie ended.
Is that how Ned sounds?
He goes into Hobgoblin
That's how
mode
the
right
movie
from there.
sounded. That's how the movie ended. Was Peter, and then it ends. Like that's how
He
it goes.
didn't say that though. didn't say
He goes,
that, did he?
Peter.
Does he? No.
Yeah,
that's
he
what I was
says
waiting for.
Peter's the last line in the movie.
It's true.
Yeah, he's like Peter,
Yeah.
and then it goes
And
to black.
Actually, yeah, there you go. Maybe I was okay. I was misremembering what I actually remembered.
DWS, I swear muscle memory can overcome a spell. I'm with you. I'm not even saying it's a negative. I have a retort. I was just asking your guys' thought of that. I forgot to mention that too. Yeah, when he was choking MJ, I was like, oh shit. He lifted her up. He's like, you get out of her. I was like, oh
Yeah,
no.
that was crazy.
Hopefully she doesn't come
I
out of
thought
it
we were
now.
gonna go full man spider in this movie. I'm not gonna lie. I thought
So-
we were getting a CGI man spider moment.
Apparently they talked about it, but they decided that it would be too scary for kids. Holland talked about
I
this
thought that's
today.
how he was gonna defeat the Hulk, is he was gonna remove the inhibitor, go full man spider mode.
Yeah.
and have
Bring
a-
MJ on top of the Golden Gate Bridge,
Have a
like
kaiju
Jane Cameron
battle or
script.
something.
Yeah, I get it. They all go out to protect the kids, but today, me and my kids, we watched the 4-part arc of because I wanted to introduce them to Punisher, and that's when he turns to Spider-Man. I know it's a cartoon, but they're fine. The kids are coddled way too much. Like, well, we don't want to scare the kids. It's like turn them into fucking Spider. It's okay. Like people will get through. But I guess they did tinker with it. I don't know if it was them, or I wonder if Disney's like, yeah, we don't want you to do that. Let's not go that far.
No, I think they made a fine choice. That's just where I thought we were going at one point.
Yeah, no,
People were
nobody knows.
cringing at the scene too when he's just in his lab and you see like the spider video and it's like doing that like that shedding
Yeah.
of the skin and like even like Tom Holland's just looking at it
Stop
disgust
showing
like Eve, yeah, turn
Yeah.
it off. And people in the audience at my screening were definitely grossed out.
That got a lot. I do got to say too, because people were debating this in the Discord. Because Maddie said his reaction, theater got a reaction, but Hansi said to the Jean Grey thing, no one reacted. Our theater reacted when the Jean Grey
my
thing
theater
popped
was
up.
huge for
It
Jean
was
Grey
like
pop,
yeah, it was like a lot of like stuff
enough.
going
I did
on.
that
And then you have the
Travis.
mansplainers who are like X-Men, like to like their girlfriend who like
Yeah.
they assume doesn't know these things.
There's one guy in our crowd. He was really loud. Or when it's when Zendaya got the note. It was like quiet when Tom comes back and she's like, "Was this for me?" And one guy's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
But it was
yeah, that
dead
guy.
quiet in our theater, and just this one guy. I don't know if he was expecting the whole theater to pop off, but Taylor, I had a question for you after this ad break. Which I haven't even wrote any of this down. Fuck. Taylor, what did you take from the Ned handshake thing?
I mean, I like the muscle memory thing that you pitched, Kirkland, because yeah, he knows Peter as Spider-Man with the mask on, but he didn't know. Well, no, he introduced himself because he still thought he was called Maynard, and he's like, "I'm Peter,"
Maynard,
and then he
yeah.
did the handshake, and then he's like, "Peter." I jive with it. I do. I can. I don't know the parameters of Doctor Strange's spell, but obviously the spell is just full of tomfoolery and fuckery because
A
it's
kiss
just,
can't break it though.
the kiss didn't break
Simple
it, but
spell, but quite unbreakable.
the way I see that is because if MJ was herself and kissed Peter, then she would have clicked with it. But she wasn't herself. Her mind, she couldn't remember the kiss. She was completely zoned out and possessed by Jean Grey. So Jean Grey
He's
did
like,
the
let's
kiss.
try something. Let's
So,
make out.
well, that's right. That's right. So I think that that could do it. And I'm trying to remember if they had any intimate or like close moment after the fact,
They
but there wasn't
The web
after
swinging,
that.
but you
There
could
was
say
the
that
web
that
singing.
triggered that, right?
That could be the trigger. That could be it. That and just her sitting there with Ned and just seeing. I mean, that's just such a familiar thing, right? That's like the handshake in itself.
Yeah.
So I think it's just that the muscle memory. I think you got it, Kirkland.
I just thought it was as simple as like Wanda took some of Peter's memories and like, or not Wanda, fuck, it's already starting. Jean already took some of his memories and kind of like implanted them to remind them of like, hey, you did know this guy. Because she saw all that shit, right? So to me, I just thought it's kind of
You think
peculiar.
Jean incepted that into Ned's
Well, it's just
mind?
kind of peculiar. What's she doing while she's just sitting around that park for months or like weeks or days, right? It's just like, and when she's leaving on that bus, she kind of has like a smile. So to me, it's interesting that she's leaving on this bus. She has like a smile, even though her sister's dead. She was a terrorist. She has a smile, and then the next scene we seen is Peter like reuniting with Ned. I kind of took it as like, what if she found a way to kind of unlock those suppressed memories, and that's why this
She
like the
makes Hobgoblin makes Ned turn.
yeah,
evil.
she fucks him up again. But no, but like almost this time, like now this time, if Peter were to kiss MJ, she would remember because Jean Grey is kind of like, to me, it's almost the same way as like now all of a sudden Hulk's back, right? After Jean messed with his mind he has not been Hulk for, so what, that was 2018 and then there's 5 years. He's not been the Hulk for over 10 years. And that's
What
even
was She-Hulk?
Did he turn into him? I guess they had that car accident, right? I can't remember. So yeah, you could be right. So, but somewhere in that time where he's found a way to like kind of suppress it, right? It felt like Jean sending the Hulk off kind of like brought that old Hulk out and took that suppression. So that's why I'm wondering if when she alters your mind, I know someone's gonna be like, oh, it's magic and a spell. Then I will more accept Jean bringing the memories back than just muscle memory, in my opinion. So that's what I'm hoping is that Jean kind of like, I'm going to give them some things back, just because I know Peter's in pain. What if they kind of had this memory of him and now it's a little more easier of a pill to swallow? So that's my headcanon for now, so.
Yeah, I wonder if it's. I mean, even like the sequence when she like unleashes her full power and she grabs everyone within a kilometer
Right.
radius. Like Zendaya's like crying like pretty intensely in that moment. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there too of like, I don't know. Maybe that is radiating out some memories or something like that too. It could be a number of things, but. Yeah, I think it's probably like a mix of what you guys are saying. Those are some great theories. I think going into this movie, I was definitely very anti them reestablishing these connections just because I felt like it takes away a bit from the power of what No Way Home is. Though it did feel like it was kind of inevitable that we'd get to this point, and I think we'll just kind of pick that up in the next Spidey movie, whenever that is, because I guess that would be after Secret Wars. presumably. So a lot will have
Yeah.
passed between like now and the next time we pick up with those stories anyway. So we'll see how that works, because I don't know if Zendaya and Ned are making it into Secret Wars. We'll see what happens. Like maybe a scene, I guess, but
I bet it could be similar. Remember in Endgame when they got back from the snap and Peter and Ned found each other in high school and they were like all happy and stuff.
right, yeah,
I could see something like that because I don't think they're gonna wait 5 years. Especially, we'll talk about on news. There's rumors that this preview, the Thursday previewing, is gonna open bigger than Endgame. There's
That's
like
crazy,
tracking
yeah.
right now, so that's where it's just like, I don't think they're waiting 5 years this time. I think 2029, 3 years from now, you're getting that Spider-Man movie. Sony's like, no,
Yeah.
Venom's dead, Madam Web, Craven's like.
I mean,
you're
I
our
think that's
cash
just
cow.
like the way of the MCU for the next future here. Is we're just
yes,
going back to the things that do super well. But yeah, ultimately, it's, I think as for those two characters individually, I think I was not with you, Travis, on Ned for the the home trilogy, but I think I'm now over it, and I think I'm ready to move on from this character. I don't think he brought anything new here. And interestingly, I feel like Zendaya, and it's funny, I keep call him his character name, and I call her Zendaya. That's how my brain works for this.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned, like 4 or 5 years have passed since the events of No Way Home, and they've like built their whole lives. They've changed. They've gone to school. They've done all these things, and it does feel like MJ's had an evolution and has changed. And obviously, she still has some of those roots to her, and that's what like makes her maybe kind of have that connection with Punisher right off the hop. But it does feel like she is like a character that's changed a lot, and maybe it's because I've just seen Zendaya in a million things, and I'm such a big fan of her now. But it feels like Ned has not changed one
no.
minute of time. He hasn't grown at all as a person, and I guess I just don't feel like I got anything new from him here. It was a sweet scene when they were building Lego and they were doing their Lord of the Rings quotes, and they were kind of having their cute moment together. Of course, all that stuff's fun. Those two actors, I think, have really great chemistry together. And so it was fine. Like it's I wouldn't say he was like actively a negative. He wouldn't like detract my score or anything like that. But I guess I'm just like neutral on Ned, and he wasn't in here a whole lot, which I think I was happy with like the amount he was in this movie overall. Again, even if my ideal scenario for the character would be that maybe we like move on to some new characters, but then Zendaya on the other hand, she's just so fucking incredible at acting. And I
Yeah.
feel like the other movies didn't always give her the opportunity to do that, as you've mentioned, Travis. And so I think it was really fun to get some more juice with her here. Again, I really like the stuff with her and Punisher as well. And God, just the things she can do with her eyes, it's unbelievable. I mentioned it in probably every review I've ever done for a Zendaya thing, definitely with Dune. She's just so incredible. So all that stuff was really fun. And that rooftop scene, it was not until the reveal happened that I clued in on it. So I was like crying, like tears of like joy and how sweet the scene was. And then like the heart wrench of when it turns, like that scene absolutely fucking killed for me. Like that is an amazing scene, probably the strongest emotional scene in the movie for me, for sure. So just incredible stuff. Really, really well done. Yeah, Zendaya, just unbelievable.
Yeah, I wonder if him and Gene ever talk about that, because technically they kissed, right? So I wonder if that ever comes up again in the future.
Him and Jean.
Yeah, or
Kissed?
just that scenario. Well, they did, right? Because Gene's control, like with her body,
I
she
guess
is
so, yeah, because she
they
would have
did,
experienced
right?
the kiss.
Yeah,
through-
right. So it's because when Hulk was getting like shell
Yeah,
shocked,
good
she was like,
point,
oh,
good point.
so
Yeah, good point.
you know,
Damn, that's
yeah,
interesting.
shit. I was gonna say. Oh, and even to your point, Dylan.
Circle
about-
back to that.
Yeah, we'll circle back then. Secret Wars. Well, two things that you said, Dylan. One, maybe that's why Ned got the reunion. So then, what would be more heartbreaking than Tom Holland's Peter Parker? I'm still Sam Raimi coded. Sorry, Phil.
Yeah.
But what would be worse than seeing his hero Iron Man kill his best friend Ned in Secret Wars? That maybe that's what we're setting up for. Which I was kind of surprised when they kept doing the montage of all the people he lost. Never shown Iron Man, so I was like, "Is that like a rights thing where they're like, Downey's like, hey, you still owe me
You
like
got to pay a
one-"
lot of money to do it.
Yeah, right? Like-
of Downey. Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's a fine thing to show. Like, that was his, like, surrogate dad almost, right? So I thought for sure we were just going to show the scene of him, like, hugging Downey, but we didn't even get that, so that's
Even,
fine.
like
It's not-
Happy or something, they could have chucked in
Yeah.
there.
It's like, no, and even at that point, right? DWS says, is Disney not allowed to use any of the characters in the Sonyverse? They are not unless Sony agrees. So it's the same way it is where they'll have a deal. Tom Holland's already said this like past 2 weeks that there is plans. There's plans for symbiotes, and Miles is coming. He just says they're working on handing the baton off. That's why I do feel like these movies are going to come a bit quicker because I feel like I think they already have these 2 movies mapped out. Even the way Daniel Destin Creighton's talking about them, it's like I feel like they have the trajectory of 5 into Miles and then Tom Holland's out of there. So as long as Sony's game, they could, but they could easily just pull like they did. Remember after Far From Home, right? For 2 weeks there, Spider-Man was no longer in the MCU because Sony's like, we're done with this. We don't want to do it anymore. So
Is Daniel on the next Spidey? Like confirmed? Is that a thing?
not confirmed, but I bet on Monday it'll be confirmed. I think once that box office comes in, they'll be like, sorry, Shang-Chi 2. You're waiting a little bit. Well, who knows, though? I don't know. They canceled his fucking show because he was the producer of Wonder Man. So I don't know if that's why they did that because all the big, they're like going to write him a big check. And they're like, oh, sorry, but like, here's some more money for you. But it was suspicious timing of this guy celebrating this historic week and you cancel the show that he directed the first episode.
Big part of Wonder Man season 1 as well.
Yeah, he wrote episodes. He directed the first episode.
Yeah, he's becoming like a really solid player for the MCU. That's cool.
You know who he is though now? He's the new Gunn, in my opinion. Like how Gunn for a while has become like the Feige number 2, like raising up, and there was always those rumors that Feige wanted to give him like the cosmic side of the MCU to run. I feel like Daniels, because remember he was supposed to direct Avengers before, right? King Dynasty.
True. Yeah, King Dynasty. Yeah.
And I'm just saying, people, again, let's circle back in January when people keep telling me, "Oh yeah, I'd much rather have Doomsday than King Dynasty." We just got this fantastic Spider-Man movie. Daniel was behind that. I'm just saying, just you wait. Daniel's he's got the juice. He's got some good stuff going on here. So
he's got the bureau.
Yeah. You know who's not got? You know who's gonna need some bureau is Professor Hulk, aka Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk.
Oh man. Much awaited.
Yeah, much awaited. To your point, Kirkland, though, you were talking about the trailers. I do feel like we saw almost everything of the Hulk in the trailers, which was a little disappointing. We saw the meet cute, we saw them talking in the hall, and then we saw him losing it. Not the specifics of each fight, but I thought there'd be a little bit more.
That's fair.
Detool did ask, yes, we where is? We got to play it one more time for the review.
You're not one of my students, are you?
Now they did that, but it was from a side profile of both of them in a wide shot, and he was not like that. I swear, I'm not saying to listen to Geek First.
The music is a big thing too for the quality of that meme. I will say
it is, but he again was goofy. I think they told him just again to play up, be happy because you're gonna be Hulk and be happy. But I do feel like someone watched that trailer and they're like, we can't use that cut because it was not as good when he said you're not like one of my students in the movie. It was not that goofy. It was way more serious. So I felt like they're like, you know what, this version isn't working. Let's go to that. But
you know what they did keep though is the fucking turnaround.
Yeah, we don't have that on here.
They
did keep that. Yeah.
I was giggling so much in that
classroom.
scene. That was like the one for one that they did keep.
My favorite thing too is when he pretends to scare Peter. Peter actually like jump, like he was scared.
He's on edge. You know?
Yeah,
He's
it's
a
true.
little freaked out when they were like walking outside and they're getting to that point, and I know it's coming. You're not one of my students, are you? I had to put my popcorn down for this. I had to like lock in on this scene. I'm like, all right, here we go. I've been waiting for this fucking scene.
Me and Kirk were chuckling. I'm sure the theater was like, what the fuck are these two guys laughing about? Because nothing funny is happening here. But I knew it was coming, and I almost thought it wasn't going to happen because they turned away. But I'm of two minds of this. I absolutely loved the fight, and I think they nailed the Hulk. It's great to have Savage Hulk back. This felt like true, like I said in my non-spoilers, true comic book cartoon. Just you're seeing the Hulk and Spider-Man fight. They're doing combo moves with each other. He's using the shocker glove. They're fighting mid-air and jumping off debris. It's like, this is awesome. I was kind of surprised it just ended with Banner and the ambulance being like, who got hurt? Was it anybody else? I thought it was going to be like Savage Hulk, and then he's gone. Like, he's like on the rampage again, and we don't know when we'll see him next. It felt kind of weird that he just like got carted back to the same hospital where I guess Punisher is. So I don't know where I am with Hulk because he's already back to being Banner. So did they just use him as like we just need a set piece here. So I liked it, but it feels a little odd. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on this. I think it was successful as like the plot device element of it, of just having the Beast there and making it like a big iconic character, obviously. And it's been a while since we've seen like that version of the Hulk, it feels like. As for the story stuff around it, I think this is probably one of the weaker things for me. And I think again, the amount we flip-flop with this character in the MCU, I'm just kind of sick of it at this point. It just doesn't have any like effect anymore when he's like losing it. It's like I don't care anymore. And I think all their dialogue, obviously we memed it up, so like that adds a factor to it. But even like before, when he's just in the classroom and like, the one kid's like, I want to ask like an Avengers question, and he's like, okay, go for it. Ask the Avengers. Like I don't know. I was just not into this particular
You tell him,
vibe.
Harold.
I think.
Yeah.
And then I mean, again, we kind of memed it with like some of the ways he gives like these cheeky looks. So maybe that took me out of it a bit. But like even like their whole conversation is just like techno babble, science babble, whatever, and it's just not that interesting. It feels like very inorganic. So I don't know. I think this was probably the weakest like character for me was Bruce Banner, but all the Hulk stuff definitely worked for me. I think like the way that paired with Jean was really interesting, and how it like the inhibitor like just couldn't go through his like thick skin. Like I liked all that stuff was fun, and like how we got kind of wrapped up with just so much wall that was kind of just like pulling him off. I don't know. I liked the whole way that was choreographed. It was super fun.
How do you decide? He still sounds like Bane in that line reading. Everyone check it out next time you listen to it. So
I love the Hulk here. It was so great to see like savage, like angry Hulk again, and just so fucking menacing when he like just rises above Peter and just looking down on him. Like, this is fucking awesome. Like we're getting like a monster movie, and our monster is Hulk here in this little sequence when he does the clap. Like just great to see
Clap,
that again.
baby.
And I thought it was super super fun. It's a great like big lackey, right, for Jean to have, because it's like it has ties to obviously just the whole MCU in general, like a Mount Rushmore type character, and used in a really good way. Although like could have used a little bit more, I guess, of a follow up, but
especially
honestly,
when he's like, "I'm your friend, Peter." It's like, what?
that was
No, you're
like
not.
the thing that brought him back. Yeah, that
They
was
didn't
kind
even
of a
interact
stretch.
in the original phase 1 to 4, like 1 to 3.
I thought he was gonna see Peter and like remember, I don't know, like.
But
like
what would he remember?
ScarJo or something. Like it's just reminding him of a
Oh
friend.
no, sun's getting real low, big guy. He's
Something
just
like that.
yeah.
Like something
They
that just grounds him, just brings him back to the Bruce
yeah.
side.
It just was weird. Like, I'm Peter, your
Bruce
friend, and then he
doesn't
looks
even
in
know
the
this
mirror.
Peter. Yeah,
no.
yeah, Bruce doesn't even know
Well, he
this
doesn't even know
guy.
this Peter. He didn't know
He
the
knows
other
Ned
Peter.
Leeds. He knows
and
Ned
th-
Leeds.
And then when he looks
apparently.
in the glass, and already we're doing the Hulk's like, I'm a fucking monster. Like, look at. I'm like, I think it's like what Dylan said. It's like we've done this before. Like I love
We're going in
Ruffalo, but
circles.
if there is some sort of soft reboot in the MCU after Secret Wars, I wouldn't mind just starting Hulk from like either break him for a while or start him from like ground one again and get I don't know. I really don't know what you do with Hulk now. I would not be sad if he was like a noble sacrifice in Secret Wars, you know? It's kind of like how I always said that Nick Fury should have went in Infinity War Endgame.
Promote She-Hulk. Let's get rid of Hulk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure. She can pal around with Frank. You can go on a little buddy comedy, tour.
I'm down for that.
Yeah. Carl Ritchie in the chat. The great
Whoa.
or sometimes awful Carl Ritchie. I'll have to go back to the start and listen to the full review, but hopefully you loved it as much as I did. Def my favorite one so far. So there you go. Yeah. I'm excited in August when we do our next After 9. We can talk to people and see what they thought, because I think it's going to be relatively
Seems
light, but
divisive
still.
in the Discord already.
Yeah, it seems. I think there's going to be some stuff. But Taylor, where were you on Bruce Banner? Were you one of his students?
I like to think I was. The only thing that pulled me out was, when he's Bruce, it's fine. When he's Savage Hulk, it's fine. But when he was in that like in between phase, the CGI just kind of dropped significantly, I'd say. But when he was Savage Hulk, he looked amazing. I think the CGI quality definitely got amped up there. But I like when he geeked out with Peter Parker and they were talking about all the sciencey stuff. That was great. And then started talking about inhibitor chips and just the amount of power that has. And then him coming back and recovering from being Savage Hulk, the way he's talking in that vehicle or on the back of like the ambulance or whatever, I swear he said like not again or something like that, or again he's panicking because he doesn't want to hurt people. But I took it as like Age of Ultron, he had someone in his head as Hulk, so it was kind of like paralleling that.
Yeah, that's true. Again, that's true. That's another fucking Jean Wanda copy. They both use the Hulk to like create a version and cause some trouble, right? So it feels very much like I guess I was worried about Hulk versus Brave New World and lots of comparisons there. Not really. Harrison Ford much more screen time than Mark Ruffalo did, which is again kind of crazy in that sense. And yeah, I don't know I don't know where
I kind
Hulk
of
goes.
forgot that we got Harrison Ford in the MCU.
Yeah, he's there, turning into Red Hulk. You know, being butt ass naked. That was something they refused to have Tom Holland naked in this movie.
I thought we were gonna see cheeks. I thought
I
he was
thought
gonna
we were
be
getting
hanging
cheeks in the
dong in
tub.
front of Florence. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we
He's
don't.
looking
But like,
fucking shredded though.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
God, that
my
guy.
God.
Ooh,
he confirmed it's not a stunt double either. He's Adonis, but like in the bathing room, he had the shorts on, and then the one that bugged. I'm fine with that. The one that bugged me is he had like his web cocoon, and still was. You know, I'm not saying you gotta show his cheeks, but like, why does he have to have boxers on? Like, why would he take off all his clothes? But like, I'm gonna man Spider knows like I gotta keep my
Yeah.
boxers on.
I like when he
you
was
know?
rocking the girl from his apartment's outfit, the tank.
Yeah.
Tank and the
Juicy.
juicy pants. Yeah.
That elevator scene, that was something out of the fucking Raimi movies in the best way possible. Of just like,
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
it's
cute
not.
dog.
Yeah. That one, that was a Toby, and that's what I'd say in a positive way. It felt like he took Toby and Andrew Isms and put them together because I feel like when he
Yeah.
was talking as Spider-Man, he had because Andrew Garfield would give himself like a thicker New York accent when he was Spider-Man. It felt like he was doing that here.
I
But
noticed
yeah,
that too. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, that elevator scene was very Toby coded. Like the dog was, oh no, and he's like hitting the
Spamming the
buttons.
buttons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like I see Bully
Juicy.
McGuire
Juicy
hidden
on
here.
that ass.
You know, so
that
that
was
was
so great. Which is like,
I
are you
enjoyed
wearing
it.
my shirt? Is that my shirt? No, of course not. Yeah.
Oh, I live here. Don't worry. He's talking to the guy downstairs and whatnot. I live here. Don't
Yeah.
worry. So, yeah, I guess that blonde neighbor was just a blonde neighbor after all. You know, nobody.
Yeah.
But we did have another blonde in here. We had heard this before, but Yelena was in here. You know, easy paycheck for Florence Pugh. Get to go to she probably was just already at this spa house and just like, hey, I'm gonna be here for like a couple days. Can we shoot the scene here? And they're like, great, because it was odd that like,
that
okay,
just is her actual office. In real life.
yeah, it's like, okay, we got Yelena just half naked, never a bad thing, you know. Florence Pugh, the greatest actor of this decade, voted on by the GV fans, so she's, you know, approved. We're Pugh boys. Great to see her. I don't know what this is leading to, because I would love to say like, oh, in Doomsday that would mean Spidey is going to side with her for the new Avengers, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think we've said before that storyline's probably not going anywhere, but it's great to have her in there both. And again, I think this was another pro of like, it feels like a living, breathing MCU. Even though I didn't
Yeah,
love all the
definitely.
Hulk stuff, it was like, oh, Hulk's a professor over there, and Frank's breaking criminals, and oh, he needs help. I'm going to call Yelena for big potatoes, small potatoes, and yeah, I'm excited for her to hopefully kill him Doomsday. You know, Florence Pugh's still, you know, one of the goats right now. So
Yeah, I mean, more movies just need to get Flop hanging out in a hot
Absolutely.
tub. You know,
yes,
it's not a bad place.
Agreed.
I think she's really fun in here, as she always is. I agree with you. I think the world building of it like really worked for me, and I think that'll probably help for all the people who didn't watch Thunderbolts. Even just like this one quick line drop that she's like an Avenger now, and the new Avengers are hanging out doing their stuff. I love her confidence. Like she's a character that felt like very in line with like where we've seen her in the past. Like this felt like a not that she gets like an arc and she has a lot less screen time than Hulk or Punisher, but we talk about how those characters. I mean, I guess Hulk's always doing this, but we talk about with Punisher, how this is kind of like a different version of the character, but that doesn't feel like the case with her. It feels like they got the writing down for that, and it all really worked for me. And it's funny too when we were getting the scenes later when he's like talking to her, just like virtually. And like all the first few shots are just of her on the screen. I'm like, wow, they really just literally phoned this one in. And then you actually get some shots of like her perspective in the bathhouse doing those scenes too. But yeah, really, it's just a one room performance for her in this movie, I guess. But I really enjoyed it. And again, another character that I forgot was supposed to be in this movie, and so that was a surprise for me when she popped up.
mm-hmm. Anything on Yelena, boys, or? Nah,
Perfect.
moving on.
It was amazing.
Was
Love
not
to see.
expecting her to be topless
Or bottomless.
Yeah,
and bottomless. Yeah.
yeah, we don't know. I really liked. Oh, is there any like? I have like little things to shout out. Is there any like main big topics we haven't hit on yet?
You guys have any thoughts on Metzger? Any Metzger thoughts?
Metzger?
I mean, he's
I
at
liked him.
large, right?
Metzger.
I'm excited for him to be a bad guy for the X-Men for the next 10 years. You know.
Man, the scene when Jean's like popping off, Peter, you know, did the whole like he took out the inhibitor. He's about to go meet Jean, but when she's just like floating Metzger like towards her, and he's just like a corpse basically. I'm like, man, it is so over for this fucking guy.
I can back
Glass,
Kirkland
yeah.
up. He was the theater was silent, and Kirkland's just chuckling to himself over there. And I was like, even me, I was like, I don't even know what Kirkland's finding so funny here. But Kirkland's
There was a
dying.
couple moments of some of the Frank stuff, like when Frank whips out the sniper. I was laughing. No one else in my theater had a reaction, but I was just digging it. So there was definitely a few moments like that that I feel like very specific to how in the weeds we are on this stuff. But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
No, I think he's good. He's a good. It is interesting. This is like the Pedro thing where like Severance in the Mission Impossible, he's known as like this very charismatic actor, and then like, well, we're gonna get you to come in here and be like not that. You know, it's like Pedro. It's like, oh, you're known for the Viper in Game of Thrones. We're gonna get you to be just Mandalorian who talks. Where's the kid? Like, so he is a very
I feel like
talented
he had
actor.
a charisma to him in this.
Yeah,
like, I could
but
his
I mean, he's
character that from the
more-
first scene. I could tell that this guy is going to be like the villain or whatever by the
Yeah.
end of it. But I feel like he does have a. I feel like he was kind of playing both sides in a way that I thought was really good for what is like a pretty boring role on paper. But I think he brings like a level of nuance to it just because he's such a good actor. And honestly, it does feel very similar to what he's doing in Severance. So I feel like he's had 2 seasons of practice of playing this character before, to be fair, and probably other things that I haven't seen him in. So
Yeah.
it kind of fell right in line.
Yeah. No, I think we'll be talking about him for the next 10 years, just ruining people's lives. In that scene too, I forgot to talk about. Don't go into specifics, but really love the hand fight. Well, okay, two
Man.
things. The setup of the
they
hand was
first
super.
came out.
This is the hand. They're a bunch of lost kids. Oh, really? That looks like a fucking 40 to 50-year-old woman. I don't think they're a bunch of. It was a weird setup of just
Like, we
like
hired them, and they're just all in their like ninja, like assassin garb.
Yeah.
Like, this is just so
that was
strange.
so weird. to
they do
me.
birthday parties. They do this. It was odd, but yeah, it was odd to call them lost kids without a leader. They're just a bunch of lost kids. It's like no. They're the
Yeah.
they're ninja organization. It's gonna be very interesting what happens in Daredevil season 3. Which at the end of the day, I don't think much is gonna connect. I think season 3 is coming, and then we're done with the MCU shows. Maybe Jones and whatnot, but the actual fight scene. Fantastic. It was obviously they're trying to evoke that like final scene in Kill Bill. It's not the same thing as that quality, but I just enjoy Spider-Man. I prefer this. Very similar to Thunderbolts, right? Where the bad guy is him fighting a bunch of ninjas, but the real final boss is him and Jean's like mental game and the scene with Aunt May. I'll take that over because there is a version of this where Hulk is the final boss, and it's like okay, that like can work, but we've just been there. So great scene with the hand, and love the way they're moving. Love the way they're like jumping in the air and then they're jumping off of each other. They're moving like a hand.
Yeah, I loved it at first when they like all just linked arms essentially, so they could move as like a wave unit. That was super sick. I liked the choreography, and then when he goes like full, when he takes the inhibitor off and he goes full power mode.
Yeah.
When he just does like that thing where he's like mixing his arms together so that it like when you like put your thumb over the tip of a hose and it shoots everywhere. He's kind of doing that with his web powers, and then like makes it
Yeah.
into like a trampoline, flings
Oh,
up
yeah.
to get past them. Freaking cool stuff. I really enjoyed that.
Big Batman
just-
Forever moment of not Speeder.
Yeah.
I'm not Spider-Man. I'm not Peter Parker. I'm both. And then great moment. Great job
Mm-hmm.
by Tom. So
I was even gonna say Batman Begins when he has like the call to all the bats. It looked like a very similar move where he like jumps down.
oh
when
yeah,
he
yeah,
throws.
yeah.
I want to shout out when he's like first trying out his fucking bio, like his what does he even call it? His like natural webbing, whatever the term is there. I thought he was actually gonna do like the line from Toei where he's like, "Go Web, go!" Like I thought it was gonna be like very similar to that. I feel like I'm glad it didn't. Like keep it somewhat separate there. But I at least like the what do you call him, Peter 2, the Peter 2 reference. He's like, "Oh, he was
Yeah.
awesome."
Yeah.
Whatever the hell the line was.
Yeah, you got it,
and just how grossed out he was, like when he first squirts out and he's just gagging to him. Like it's just that was comedy gold for me.
Yeah. DWS, I forgot about that. Tombstone had a glorious 5-second screen time. Yeah,
Man,
I
Tombstone.
forgot about Tombstone.
that was disappointing because at least because I think Kirkland, you were worried about Scorpion. I was happy with the amount of Scorpion we got here for being like a BT. Like, sure, would I want more? Yes, but we're not doing that in a film where we're introducing Jean Grey and the mutants. So I liked him here, and I like to like we memed upon him like throwing him into the cop car, but that had stakes when they're like, hey, you fucked up, like there's a cop, you almost killed the cop. And I really liked Detective Wolfen checking in. I feel like
Yeah, I
'cause
like that relationship.
yeah, I like the action from the bear, but I think those scenes poorly written or poorly acted could be like, oh, you could just chop these. No, I liked this kind of like mental check-in all the time. I thought they had really good chemistry for only being in like a few scenes. Like I bought that they've been the Batman and Gordon for the last couple of years together, a more friendlier
Yeah.
version. But that's what I like when she checked him of like, hey, like you almost killed a cop, you can't do this. You ever do this again, I can never cover for you. And her, the kids being like, hey, is that Spider-Man? I liked that all. Where on paper that could have been you could cut that easy. So I really like that, and I hope she's in every single movie now. I would even be down if you get a little bit more of her in the future. So really like Detective Wolf, and I like Scorpion what they use him for. So
It felt like, now, I don't know what the future will be, but it felt like they were maybe hinting at someone with like her kids. Like maybe her kids will get more involved in like the future or something. I don't know.
mini
what way,
Punishers,
They
Punisher
did
but- Yeah,
training
the
camp.
next Punishers. Yeah. Give them a
Shoot a
Barrett
sniper
50 cal
rifle
and see what
like
happens.
this. Yeah.
The one, I think it was like the first phone call that they have together. Just her like mannerisms when she's like talking, and then her kids are like asked like, "Who are you talking about?" It's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." Like it just seemed like
Yeah.
it's like a flame or something that she's talking to.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, talking about Spider-Man. Like just I don't know. It's kind of comedic in that sense. But
Oh,
no,
my
I
calculator.
do appreciate that character.
You know, I don't know where your calculator is, and then
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
36.
Stop asking me.
I'm still looking for a calculator.
What's your son's name? Poppy?
Yeah. Oh, and then again, just little humor beats too. When he finds Ned's chart, he's like, "Yeah, I think I've narrowed down to 2 people." And he pulls it up, and it's Flash Thompson and the other Martin
Yeah,
Starr
that was
teacher.
good.
That was
Yeah.
a fun little joke there. I enjoyed that. And there's a bunch of, to give it credit, a bunch of probably little jokes that I'm not remembering now that were good.
Yeah. The kind of montage sequence, obviously like the hand, Tombstone, Scorpion. Is that the guy that we were talking about, Travis? The 4th guy in the red suit that we were talking about like 2 days ago on cast? There was another like quick shot of a guy.
Tarantula?
Yeah.
That's
Is
who it
was.
was.
That
Yeah.
Tarantula?
The guy in the red
Okay,
suit's Tarantula. Yeah, and then there
Poor
was
Tarantula. Poor Tombstone. Poor Tarantula.
Yeah,
One
and
shot.
Rimrod too. The actor who played Rimrod, the guy who was like metal and ran to the wall, he did say he had his scenes cut. I think Daniel Desencren said somewhere like this was like originally 4 hours, so I bet there's more. Tombstone hurt me a little bit. I'll say, and I'm not like a big Tombstone guy. I just felt like I would like him to be the role that Scorpion had in this movie. In the next 2 movies, I would like him do that, and I hope it's not the end of him. And just it feels like for that, it's like is there not another lackey you could throw in there? So a little disappointing, but they recreated the combo cover, so cool.
I saw this and I'm like, man, I'm so happy that I little spoiler for our previous little Patreon cast we did. I'm like, man, Benny Safdie as this Tombstone character. I'd love to see it.
No, you said Hammerhead. You said
They
Hammerhead.
should have.
Oh,
they
it
should
was
have.
Hammerhead.
They should have
different.
had Hammerhead in that role. I think.
I
He
agree.
actually- and that guy had the head
Damn.
for Hammerhead too.
Yeah. No, I
I think I just saw
100%
the
agree.
head, and that's right where my mind went. So yeah, no, you're right.
That guy does voice Tombstone in the Spider-Verse movies though too, so he's got that role on
This
point.
guy,
So
right?
yeah, so I hope
Yeah.
we see more. I
hope
thought
we
there'd
see
be a little bit more of Tombstone, and now that Rimrod guy said some of his scenes were cut, I wonder if these montage fight scenes were a little longer, but they decided to cut them. I was also worried too when Tombstone's like, "Oh, is a fall gonna kill you?" And he's like, "Well, you tell me." And he threw him off the side. I was like, "Oh fuck, is Peter just?" And then he saved him, but I was like, "Oh my god!" And there was multiple fight scenes where he would kick people off the roof, but then go and web them up, very much
Yeah.
like the video game where
Yeah.
you'd always see the web like pull them aside. So again, I like that. Again, they signified so much that he wouldn't kill. I thought it was going to be a bigger thing with Frank, so I wish they kind of got into that a little bit more. But I digress.
The scene. Oh, pardon me. The scene when he, it's a scene from the trailer when he just like executes Scorpion, and I was just laughing at that in the trailer because I'm like, is this gonna be the first 10 minutes of the movie? Like Scorpion's just fucking executed. Actually, isn't. I really like that scene. I liked when Peter like kind of sees what he did and just like
Yeah,
he's so
yeah.
devastated. Like when the switch happens, going from like the arachnid to the like the more human side of him. I also like that HUD, how it kept showing like the balance levels again. Very video game.
Speaking of
coded.
balance levels.
I've just
I took a screenshot of your face like 20 minutes ago, Taylor. It just made me laugh.
Oh, I got a few more screenshot moments for you.
but we'll circle back to that. But yeah, no, I really like that, and just the balancing of like the arachnid DNA throughout the whole movie. I really liked how that was done.
I wonder too, like with Scorpion, because she said she was going to use him to get into the VMAX, right? The vault at that time. I guess I'd have to see. Like, I guess there is no better rogues locked up. Hey, like to take over because they're all dead in Spider-Man. Like Vulture's in the Morbius universe. Mysterio's dead. All the Tobey and Garfield villains are back. So I guess there's no one locked up in New York that she could have used. I don't know what Abomination's up
She
to.
couldn't get a strongest Avenger, or not strongest, new Avenger.
Well, what are they gonna do? They're all humans, right? Other than
yeah, they're all weak.
No, because you got new Cap.
yeah, they're all, but they're all
Super
super
strength.
soldiers, But
But her idea was just brute strength to break into the
Yeah.
vault. So you mean with Spider-Man, it could have just been like, hey, I'm your friend, kind of a thing. Like,
John Walker finally get his life on track, and then Jean Grey fucking frames him for the the damage control attack, But yeah, no, I just thought about that. We've got a lot of Spider-Man rogues, but there's not too many. So, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that we haven't touched upon big here? Double Aunt Macy, we all like that.
When Peter goes full fucking, like, he disables his inhibitor when he's fighting
Right.
the hand, and when they're throwing like the ninja stars at him, I just totally got like a flash to Toby when Franco throws like the actually no, I think it was
No,
even
it's the
first
ring
movie.
you're talking. Oh, are you talking about the wedding ring? Because when he fought the Hulk, that happened where he went to grab the inhibitor and he missed it, and then he went to web it. It was a shot right out of Spider-Man 3. It was the
That's not
exact
the one
same
I was
shot.
thinking of, but yeah,
Okay.
good shout out also. But no, just when he looks at the ninja star like fly past him, it's just like when he looks at like the pumpkin bomb.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they got a lot of tributes.
I'm sure
in
there's
here,
like a couple other ones that I'm just completely forgetting about right now that I
Oh, yeah.
thought of in the movie, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, rank this bad boy. Think we got
Do
in there?
do we reference the post credit scene?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
that's Toby, right? Coming in.
Yeah, I would assume so. What we heard, that's what it was. I had to explain the kids, but that's what I assume. Now, do I think that his tracker should work that way? No, because
The
it sounded like
tracker part didn't really make any sense. I don't think.
no. It just felt like either they didn't shoot those scenes in time, or they didn't want to pay Tobey Maguire more money to shoot a scene.
Why do you guys think it's Toby? Actually, I don't think I caught that part.
just based on rumors? I think it sounds like he's in Doomsday, and it sounds like that they're using one of their Spider-Man deals for that
Mm-hmm.
to because they still have a make good because technically they've never cashed.
I thought
in-
this was just setting up Tom Holland to be in Secret Wars. Is what I
well, no,
took
because
it
it showed two Spider-Men on the same tracker. I think
Mhm.
that's what
Oh,
they're
I
trying
get.
to
Maybe I totally
yeah.
missed that part. Okay.
I think that's they're trying to insinuate that it's tracking two Spider-Men.
I thought it was just because he was like appearing all over the place.
Mm.
But,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Cool.
know, but I don't think it was great as an end credit. It was fine, but I don't think
I mean,
it was
I'm
clear
quite
enough.
confused by it, so I guess
Yes.
it was not super effective for me.
I don't think I got the point across of there's gonna be a Spider-Man in Doomsday. I think that's what they're trying to insinuate, and I guess people have TikTok and the internet, so they'll search it up. But yeah, I guess that's what he's gonna be doing, and excited to see Toby.
Me
Cool.
too.
Yeah. I'll go because maybe I'm the lowest, but I'll for now give this a 9. 9 out of 10. I could see it dropping maybe to like a 8.5 or 8.75, but I don't think anything lower. I don't think I could see it raising because I don't think I'll ever get over the Jean not talking about her sister thing. And the Frank thing, maybe that will be better if we keep continuing with this Frank. I think if we kind of go back and forth of you see him once, he's a fucking raging PTSD guy, and then you see him another time, he's in a robe making chili, and he's, hey, don't touch that. Like, he's like the old grumpy dad. If we ping pong back and forth, the score will always stay the same. If he kind of evolves and stays this way, it could get to like a 9.25. And I need to think about it a little bit more, some things, and hear other people's takes and whatnot. But I feel pretty good on a 9 because I feel both like Homecoming and Homecoming's like a 7.5, and Far From Home's like a 6 to 6.5. Like, I think those are fun movies for different reasons. And again, No Way Home's kind of a weird one, but yeah, I was still very happy with this. I don't know if it's in my top 10. I'd have to check. I think it's probably near the bottom. I know when we get after Secret Wars, we always re-rank our lists and touch upon that. So I know I'll have to have it signified then. But no, I still, even though I think I probably sound more negative than I was, I'm usually just playing devil's advocate. I did really love a lot of this. I think this is going to be the one that the Hall movie I watched the most that doesn't have nostalgia going on. And yeah, I think they did a great job, and I'm very excited to see more. And yeah, I hope hopefully Daniel Destin Cretton continues on and this team continues on. I think they got a good thing going on. I think this is like miles better than the previous trilogy. I really do in a film sense. So I think there are some big problems in here, but nonetheless, still really enjoyed them, and it's great. We're on a really good run right now. Thunderbolts, F4, Spider-Man, we're back, baby. You know, or the MCU's finally back. Well, you know, fuck, we got Doomsday in winter. So you know what? Ask me December 16th if we're really back, because that's gonna be something. But you know what? That doesn't matter, because we got a great Spider-Man movie this year, so we're good there. So
I
yeah.
like your score, and I'll match it. Also a 9 for me.
Oh, the 9.
Yeah.
Look at that.
9-9.
Who's higher between these two? Let's leave Kirkland last. We'll leave Spider-Boy last. Taylor, at the end you said, you know, you're worried about the length. You said once we talk about it, you'll have a settled score. Now's the time. What is your settled score?
Settle it.
Yeah, I mean, just to reiterate and hone in on that length, I just feel like the build up to getting to that scene where you see Jean Grey in the car passing by after all of the scenes of just her jumping around into everyone's minds. I just feel like, okay, this was a very long amount of time, and now we're dealing with he's trying to protect MJ, the mutant powers and all that stuff, and then after that you get attacking the DODC or breaking out Jean Grey, all this kind of stuff. So there's like 3 main battles that happen, I feel like, issues that they deal with in this narrative, and so the first arc just felt prolonged to me. And you know, going in to this movie, I was definitely thinking, like, already preemptively, this is gonna be a 10 out of 10. But after having that, and then just kind of like breaking down a few things, I don't have like issues necessarily with the Punisher, but there are things that are overshadowed and other things with the characters. But at the end of the day, like, I really, really did enjoy it, and I do feel like I'm probably sitting on a 9 with you guys, to be honest.
Ooh, 9 sitter.
So, yeah.
9 sitter.
I will say, because we didn't talk about this, I'm very happy Sarah Gray is dead. By the way, I didn't want the baggage of a sister being around and another telepath. I know
curious
it
where
sounds
that's gonna
morbid,
go.
but yeah, I'm happy they use that. I like that as a moment of her figuring out that they'll take it in X-Men why she can't trust people and she has issues and trauma and stuff. In the comics, she's been back and forth. Sometimes she's been a telepath, sometimes she hasn't. So I'm happy if they went this version telepath that she's gone. So.
I only saw it going, like, if she's alive, as like a future villain, and yeah, I was just.
I
like,
agree.
yeah,
Yes,
let's
like
not
that's the
do
only way
that.
you could go, because it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, we don't got room for you. You know, it's already gonna be overloaded. X-Men, like it should be only like 7 to 8 characters. We don't got the Grey sisters room for them. You know, so
Right on. Solid scores. This is awesome for Spider review. I'm glad it met up to the hype, or it exceeded our expectations. I'm gonna be the difference guy here, just to be different. Not just to be different. I fucking love this movie, and it might not hold up on a next review, but honestly, 10 out of 10 for me. I fucking love this movie so
Whoa.
much.
Nice.
You love to see it.
Had some good surprises in here. The big difference, what's a better way to say, what surprised me out of the trailers? Like, I think that's like a big, like, that honestly boosted the enjoyment so much, because I'm such a hater of these Sony trailers. I really don't like what they show. But like, man, they did it. They bamboozled me. They did switch up some things in here. Biggest one, probably the MJ scene on that rooftop. I just thought we were doing the Far From Home thing again, and I'm like, for fuck's sakes, okay. They fooled me, or they got me once, but they fooled me the second time around, and it was a good type of fooling. And yeah, action scenes were so fun. It felt right out of the video game. Felt like the video game, like, movie. It seems, or
100%.
at times, especially with the action.
he did that big
swinging.
stomp where he went to the sky and they on Scorpion when he
yeah.
came down on him and everything. So
He's going
and-
full arachnid.
Yeah, and Holland and the director said that. They said that they took inspiration from that, and that's what this
Yeah.
movie feels like. It definitely feels like you
Totally.
cannot. What I think, no matter where you are on the like or dislike scale, I don't think anyone could say this isn't like dripping in comic book or video game inspiration, right? Which is, great to see.
100%.
So
The other thing that I actually forgot to mention till now is, man, kudos for them for keeping the mask on Holland. I thought, like, for sure, like, there was going to be so many scenes where he just takes off the mask to just show off their actor and let him act. And, like, typically that is the play to go. But, like, in previous movies, I feel like he does that so much. Like, in Far From Home, like, he always has his mask off, even though it's supposed to be, like, a secret at that time still. But, like, it's a big part of the plot is, like, he is trying to keep it a lot more, like, obviously, like, Frank makes a joke about it.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not even going to take the mask off to drink your coffee. And like, there's so many scenes where I thought he was just gonna remove the mask just to like show the actor, but no, they just kept the mask on him. You can kind of see like his eyes at times, but like I don't know, I really appreciated that decision because it just fit with the story and kind of where he is, and yeah, just the loner Spider-Man, and yeah, that small decision really did big things for me. And yeah, 10 out of 10 movie, man. Cannot wait to see this again. I hope we get the extended edition at some point. If you said there's a 4-hour version, I
Tombstone
hope we
cut.
get.
Well, Daniel didn't like that. He even said like he's like I looked at this cut we made. I was like, oh, this is not where I want it to be. So and even
Yeah.
then too, apparently there was a test screening cut, and then they edited a bunch, and Holland hated it. So this movie definitely went through multiple cuts, which is sometimes still a good thing, right? But yeah, so it definitely was tinkered with. They probably went pretty ham, and then like, what can we use and what can we not? And I think what they used those, good stuff. So.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. If you like this, we will be back for all Marvel stuff. We're covering X-Men 97 right now. We got Doomsday in the winter. We got lots of build-up, fun cast plan for Doomsday. We probably will next week or the week after. We've done it for the last two. So we'll probably talk about some Spider-Man 5 because I've looked in both times we've done Spider-Man 5 predictions. So maybe we'll make that a topic. And yeah, so we're not done talking about Spider-Man. We're not done talking about the box office too. Lots of news to follow up. So if you like this, thank you very much for listening. We'll be around. Subscribe to those feeds. We got, tons of casts going on. Thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed this, and we promise when you hear from us next, it'll not be boring.
You're not one of my students, are you?